Hey gamers, welcome to a brand new DSP video. As you can see, I changed my OBS layout a little bit. I figured Jacko was getting a little stale. Everyone, couldn't even appreciate the smug face. So it was like, yeah, this ain't working. So I switched it to this, and this you can at least appreciate, I guess. At least you can appreciate her chilling, vibing. We still have the gif of Jacko just chilling, so at least we got that going. Uh, Aside from that, I do want to do a little tiny update. I finally figured out why my stream alerts were not going through OBS. Again, it was going through an old audio channel, which I stopped using because of how OBS now communicates with my computer more directly. I had to find another way to capture the audio of any stream alert, which it kind of works, but it's also kind of a headache. But it's settled at this point, at least. But we'll get there when we get there. If you catch my streams, you know what's up. The notifications should be working as normal, as planned, by the way. Anyways, that's not why we're here. You're not here to talk about fucking bullshit. We're here to discuss the guy. So let's get into it. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
I'm Phil I am, and I am here, and it is time for the show. We are continuing on with our humongous push to finish RPG Overload. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, excuse me. I gotta get my GIF, man. No, my image. He couldn't get a GIF. He can't do GIFs anymore.
RPG Overload.
And now let's just take a look at this RPG GIF. I don't think I talked about this fucking. I keep saying GIF. This fucking image. I don't think I ever discussed it in a formal style video. But let's just go through some of these fucking images. First off, this is the same fucking face he had for the Gremlins review, and other stuff. It's a dumb face. This is like a runner-up. There's one DSP face that used to be in a lot of fan art that I fucking hated. It's like him like doing this or whatever. I hated that face every time it showed up on his fucking slides. I was just like, can we please get rid of this face? This face is awful. And this is like the sequel to that. The sequel face to that fucking face. So it's another thing I hate. I just love we're already recycling images of his face at this point. Like, he can't take new pictures. But again, I talked about this years ago, but every time he takes a picture of himself, he takes it as if he's like being a clown. He can't just take a normal picture. The only normal face he made was when he got married to Kat. And I'm not saying he had to look like a clown, but he could at least look a little bit happier. But all these other images are just him like doing this, and it's like, holy shit, dude, can you just like take a normal fucking picture or whatever? I mean, I don't know. But again, I guess this is what adults do for adult content, man. Anyways, so we got that. I'm assuming this is Unicorn Overload or Overlord. I think it's I want to say Overlord. Maybe I'm wrong. But why is this here? He's not even playing this game. He thought, by the way, it is so funny. I knew about Unicorn Overlord, but I learned it from like from Twitter, which is just people talking about the localization problems, which, okay, whatever. We don't have to get to the localization debate. But I just know a lot of people were just not happy with the localization, so that was all I knew of that game. And then after that, I just saw Atlas like promoting that game everywhere I went. I couldn't like leave without seeing that game on my feed. And it doesn't, I don't know if I'm into that game. I don't know. Anyways, DSP gets told of this game, and you just know he immediately thought it was a meme game. Because he's like, Unicorn Overlord? What? I don't like that game. Like, he just acted as if it's like some weird game. Then he said he doesn't know what it is. And then said it's a strategy RPG. So then he found out what it is, and then said no. But why is this here? He's not even playing it. He's not even playing it. So he's pretty much complaining about 3 games, because he wasn't even gonna play this game anyway with these other games. This is, RPG Overlord. It's Overlord. it's the funniest meme actually because DSP like started this, and then he kind of is killing this meme. Not because he's overusing it, but he's even including it to games. He said he wasn't gonna play alongside these games that triggered this. He dropped Final Fantasy VII, so it's just these two games that this was really about. That's how dumb this has gone. It went from a decent point, whatever, I guess, from the guy to just being meaningless, which is really funny. But it's DSP. I mean, nothing is straightforward with him.
My absolute best, okay,
Okay.
to basically finish up Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Well. The good news is we are on pace to finish these games this week. In fact, if we stay at the same pacing that we've been at, I'll probably beat them both on Friday. And I know that's crazy. Like, wait, what?
This dude, I remember he would tell us, I don't rush through games anymore, man. And suddenly he just wants to steamroll these RPG games. And the kicker of this is that this dude loves having night streams be chill, relaxing fun. And RPGs are chill games. And it's like, we gotta finish them. For what? And look at what he's gonna be playing once this is done. Star Wars. Okay. Cool, I guess. But is this him just pretending to have a gamer cred by loving Battlefront? That's really what it is. Then he's gonna play Alone in the Dark, and I already know it's gonna be the White Knight game, where he'll run into bugs, or it'll be bland as fuck, or whatever, and he'll just say, "That's the point. It's a small game, man. It's like cool." Meanwhile, he's like harsh as fuck to Baldur's Gate 3 for the same fucking things. Whatever. It's gonna be one of those playthroughs. Think RoboCop in a way. And then he's gonna play Dragon's Dogma 2, which I don't know. I mean, how is it? How is the game? But I'm kind of predicting Dragon's Dogma 2 might end up the new Baldur's Gate, because he's been oddly complaining about some of the features in that game, and I think that's what I want to get into in this video, because he talks about either this or the next video I've lined up, but whatever, we'll get through this.
It's going to be perfect timing to finish them both on Friday. Yeah, maybe. All right.
Now, it's also one thing to say, "Oh man, I can't wait to beat the game. I can't wait to see the ending, man." And like getting excited to beat a game, sure, why not? Fine. But this dude isn't even excited about seeing the ending. He's excited to get them out of the way. And then he gets mad when you think that he doesn't enjoy games. But no, this is a business, and he's saying this in business terms because he knows people are bored. But I thought this is now, oh my god. This dude is like, I curate my audience. I curate my content. Correct? So, wouldn't he be curating an audience that would like RPGs? Or be down to see him play whatever? Why is he curating people who are complaining about the games he plays? And you know what? It's funny. Every game, it seems, that he plays, there's always a line of like complaining you hear about the audience. "Oh, I'm playing this game and everyone's just saying, oh, just get it over with, man. Oh, yeah, I agree. This game is kind of long." And it's like, dude, come on. Oh.
Let me tell you guys something.
Let me tell you something.
And again, you know me, I'm honest. I'm not a butt kisser, but I don't.
By the way, he's an RPG fan. He loves RPGs.
So
loves them.
Irrationally hate things for clickbait views. The further we go into Baldur's Gate 3 Endgame, the more I dislike this game. All right? And this is a game that I understand. Irrationally hate things for clickbait views.
Dude, everyone knew he was gonna be Mr. Contrarian. And the thing is, it's fine to say, "Oh, I don't like the game. Oh, this, whatever." That's really not the problem that I feel a lot of people have with Easy saying this. It's just that he makes it such a prophetic point. Like he is like alone in not liking Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever the fuck. Like he acts as if this is such a special opinion. Like, oh man, let me tell you, like, right?
The further we go into Baldur's Gate 3 Endgame, the more I dislike this game. All right. And this is a game that I understand is something that
And it's like, you know, you played the game this long and you're gonna say you dislike it near the end. And there's pre-streams. You know, at some point I feel someone out there, some maniac is gonna compile a bunch of clips of him saying, I like this game. I love Baldur's Gate 3. And then we're gonna see the ending. And it's like, and this is what he does with every game. He gets through it, and then says, "Oh, it sucks," or it's the other way around. "Oh, it sucks." "Oh, it's actually pretty good." It's kind of funny.
attempted to do something probably never done in any kind of an RPG before. It tried to make an unmatched, insane amount of quantity.
Wait, what?
This is a game that I understand is something that attempted to do something probably never done in any kind of an RPG before. It tried to make an unmatched, insane amount of quantity while
Quantity. This dude, my God, everyone I've heard talk about this game. Oh, dude, you could do this in the game. Oh man, you could like talk to someone in a village and you could trick them to do something else. Oh, the choice you can do is insane. But DSP does this slop terms, PR terms, quantity, content, like factory shit.
still maintaining a certain level of production value and quality in a retail gaming experience. You know, this is not a game that you paid $400 to play, although some people might very well say that's a justified price tag for the amount of content in the game.
Who said it's $400? Oh, is he just judging this off of speculative like thought or whatever? Like he's saying, oh, you know, you could make the argument, but I mean, come on, this dude, come on. Okay.
But man, after yesterday's stream, the entire stream was like a comedy of errors. And as much as I'd like to admit that sometimes I'm the one making the mistakes, yesterday was just atrocious. Okay? Simply using game mechanics that have worked the entirety of the game led to failure and disaster.
I love that he acts as if this is the only game to have bugs or glitches. He played games with glitches. That it fell apart near the end. And he didn't like say, oh man, look how bad this game is. This game sucks. Why is Baldur's Gate 3 suddenly a bad game because it has glitches? Like, come on.
Bugs, glitches, horrible design choices, frozen characters.
The design choices he complains about is insane. Like, it is so wild to me what he complains about. Because he makes a point saying about the Astarion. By the way, I'm probably gonna confuse Larian and Astarion. They both have similar names. It is insane. Insane, I guess. I don't know. But if I say Lavarian, I may mean Astarion, by the way. But the Astarion shit, he's like, it blows my mind. He acts as if like he didn't expect that the game would remember the decisions you make when the game is like surrounded by that. People told him that they're out the game. Oh, be careful the decisions you make. All this stuff, and he's like, okay, wait, whatever. And then he doesn't think that all of the things he does is gonna bite him in the ass or whatever by the end. Like, and I guess this is what happens when you love Telltale games so much. You're not used to a game that actually makes your choices matter.
Screens teleporting back and forth between two rooms when I wasn't even in a room involved in something.
And this shit, by the way, about this lady losing her spear, like, I talked to someone on Twitter about this, and it's like, this is a bullshit argument. Because the Astarion thing is a decision-based consequence, which is like, okay, if you just want to reload for that, okay, that's fine. That's a fair choice, a fair decision, because it's like, hey, look, this is a thing that happened with a decision. The spear was a glitch. It was a bug. And any normal gamer would just, either if they really love the spear that much, they just reload the game. And it's funny that the game allows you to save literally whenever. He could just reload a save before that happened. But he didn't want to redo a conflict or a fight or whatever. And so what was the point of having thousands of save files? Like, this dude does all these save files in the off chance that there's a game-breaking glitch that he'll need to go back to or whatever the fuck. And it's like, okay, he experiences it and he doesn't use it. he then just sticks with the game bugs. So it kind of comes back around from, okay, this is a game bug, to, no, this is Phil's fault, because he could have just reloaded. But this dude is like, I don't want to redo a fight and then have to play this game any longer. I want to beat it like a little baby. And it's like, dude, if this is such a big deal, reload the game. Come on. This is a glitch. It's not a decision-based thing.
It was just nonsense, okay? And it all culminated at the very end of that session with me ultimately looking...
And by the way, like, some of these glitches are because he wanted to avoid conflict. I mean, this dude, this has been an ongoing criticism I have for his gameplay. He just doesn't want to do any conflict. And that's why it's like, he brings in the Fallout 3 playthrough, like, oh, it's so crazy, man. I played the game and I killed the whole village, man, in the game. It's so wild. And if he does that today, if he plays that game today, he would try to suck their dick pretty much. Like, oh, I don't want to kill them, man. I want to, like, help them out. And it's like, dude, like, sure, that's a way to play, but it's not even he's doing it because he wants to. He does it because he wants the reward. And it's the same issue I have with his fucking Dundoku shit. It was not even to co-op with Cat, it was just to get rewarded. The rewards. And it's like, who the fuck plays a video game with such a mentality of like, I want to do this as long as I get a reward, or whatever. Like, again, there's a side quest in Nier Replicant, the remake, where you do all this other shit just to get Devil and Popola to play the Song of the Ancient song. That's it. You may get some experience or whatever, but that's kind of the reward. And yeah, you don't get anything useful out of it, but this song is really good. It's a really good version of the song. Like I said on Twitter at the time, this was my favorite side mission just because of that. I loved doing all that stuff to listen to this cool, like, relaxing song. But again, Nier has a very good soundtrack. It's one of my favorite soundtracks. Like, it's up there. It's, there's like 2 concerts I want to go to, and it's a Nier concert and Guilty Gear music. If they had that Arc World Tour, whatever. And they had they recorded or streamed a concert of Naoki and Aisha singing the Guilty Gear themes for characters and all that. It was so good. And sure, Naoki forgot some lyrics and all that, but he gets away with it. He gets a pass. Not many musicians get a pass. He gets one. Okay. It's clearly because I'm guilty pilled. Okay. Wait. Uh-oh. This has to be here, right? Correct? Uh-oh. No! Wait a second. I think I still have the source. Oh my god. I turned off a few things. Is this it?
Time to skedaddle.
Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Crisis averted. We got the soundboard back. I was just also cleaning up some sources. So there you go.
To lose a legendary weapon that is essential for the build of my character Karlach, and if it doesn't exist anymore, basically she's going to be nearly worthless. All right, because there's really no way to replace that weapon. Did I do something wrong to deserve that? No, it's just a wonky game engine.
You could have just reloaded the game. Like, I'm sorry, Phil. You can't really blame the game at this point. It's not like he reloaded the game and then it did it anyway or whatever. He didn't even try because he didn't want to redo anything. Like, dude, when you see a glitch, you just have to eat it sometimes. You just have to, okay?
And that's sad, because a game with this many moving parts, there's so much to keep track of. I can understand when every once in a while something goes wrong. In fact, I can understand.
I despise how this dude talks about game engines and coding and all this stuff. Like, it is so bad. I don't know if it's this pre-stream or another pre-stream, but he talks about the RE engine, and it is like, oh my god, it is painful to listen to. because he doesn't know that it stands for reaching for the moon. He only thinks it stands for Resident Evil, which, you know, on one hand, it's like, I get it. I mean, I made that same mistake too, but I also saw a tweet that said, no, it's actually about this. I had double check that because obviously, if you see a tweet, you gotta like take a double look. And then I figured out the truth. I was like, oh, okay. And that's it. But DSP could be told what it actually means, and he'll just kind of double down on it, you know, because it came out when Resident Evil 7 came out, man. Because, okay.
If like every third of the time something random happens and you're not expecting it. But when you're in the end game and you have a situation where you've built a character over the course of 130 hours and everything you've done has worked towards this character's build, and basically this character is so good, they've single-handedly been the reason you have won endgame challenging boss fights like the Raphael fight. And then to say, oh, we just decided in this particular fight, there's going to be a random variable that's going to cause chaos, and now an item will literally be yeeted from existence.
This dude is like in his 40s, and he's using like slang that he's too old for. I mean, again, he's like 90 years old, and he's using like that kind of lingo.
Fingers snapped out of the game engine is completely unacceptable. You know, last week I ranted about a character in my party leaving and taking all his equipment with him. Now, you can argue that's the result of my choices in the game. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I just don't like the way that he walks out of the game with no way to get those items back and no opportunity to even know that he's about to leave. In this case...
But, you know, this is the other thing I hate about his Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, is that every fucking choice, it always seemed to come out of spite. Or, like, you guys should do what I want you to do, and if you guys have any individuality, that's wrong. Like, it's just really weird, and I just kind of hated it. It was that, and then it's also, like, kind of, like, acting as if, like, these, like, oh my god. Like, a dude that gets uncomfortable? Yeah, uncomfortable. I don't know why I struggle on that one. Uncomfortable when the game tries to immerse him with the characters. It's just, like, you're playing a game, man. And you're acting so weird about even the most mundane decisions. Like, I don't know. It's just weird, and I kind of tuned out after that because every choice just seemed kind of like selfish, and like, you're a game character, okay? Why are you asking me? I
didn't do anything wrong. It's just the game engine that's causing me strife, and it looks like at the very end of the game is going to screw me over, and now we've got to pull a last-minute audible to figure out how to remedy the situation. In fact, it's so funny because literally right now, no one can concretely tell me what actually happened, nor is anyone sure if that spear actually exists or not in the game world.
Dude, it's a glitch! Like, I love that it's like, oh, it's funny, no one knows what's going on. Dude, it's a glitch, it's unpredictable, you don't know what happens. How can you predict what a glitch can do that you weren't expecting?
A lot of people are under the impression it's gone, and others are like, maybe it's hidden. So we got to try to figure this out as we play today. It's just a mess. And the fact is, for a game that is supposed to be Game of the Year, for a game that's supposed to be adhering...
Oh my god. And then he goes, this is Game of the Year, that's a glitch? I mean, God of War had a glitch, and that was Game of the Year, or it was nominated. Why does that get a pass, sir? I mean, sure, you could argue it's a smaller level style glitch than what is going on with this, but at the same time, like, you know, it's a video game made by people, and you know, you can't really predict all of the glitches. There's glitches that get that go on unseen, because again, he acts as if you could just fix a glitch and then that's it. And you know, sure, I probably would have thought that too, but I actually, surprise, follow some people who work on games or understand coding on Twitter or wherever, and they've said, like, yeah, you can like patch out a glitch, but that doesn't mean that another one won't appear. Like, you can't really just get rid of a glitch and have that be fixed forever. Like, it may cause other problems in the game. It's just an ongoing thing you will always be working out, the best you can really hope for is just having it being in a controlled situation where it's only like it doesn't affect everyone, the damage is minimal or whatever. Like that's I guess what they aim for with a lot of these with a lot of these playtesting and all this stuff. So things get like passed through whatever. And everyone understands that. And again, he didn't even try to reload the game before that happened. So he doesn't know if it was completely avoidable or not. But he decided to roll with it because he has to beat the game by Friday. He gives himself his own deadline. And that's the other thing that's funny. This dude tells us every day, every waking moment, he's his own boss. He's not answering to anyone. And yet he gives himself deadlines to finish games and all this other shit. And it's like, dude, you're playing a video game on your own time. Like, come on.
A very strict rule set of D&D, it shouldn't be a variable of we don't know what happened. It should be very distinct and easy.
Dude, it's
to
a
figure out
glitch. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. This dude is an idiot. He's like, dude, it's D&D and you can't predict what's gonna happen. Do D&D when you play D&D, does your dungeon master just glitch? You're hanging out with your friends, you're doing D&D with them, and your dungeon master is just like, all right, that your spear went through the wall. Oops. Like, come on. Like, this is like an irrelevant comparison. This is such a weird comparison to make, as if like it explains like it's a standard for this. It's like it's a genre, sure, I guess, but it's like he's comparing it's so weird, I guess. I guess I'm thinking more of like the traditional D&D when he brings it up. But again, it's a fantasy adventure. Like, is it really a D&D thing? Like, I don't know. Whatever.
happened, and it's not. And that's a problem. Okay?
That's a problem. Yes.
Today, we are going to talk all about yesterday's disaster stream of Baldur's Gate 3 and how the comedy of errors built up to the ultimate fumble and now what to do moving forward. Good news is, we're in the final hour, right? It's in the we're running to the end zone. We're almost there. We're going to finish this game in just a few days. Yeah. And then finally, we'll be done with it. We can say enough. Because I'll be honest, like,
we can say enough. I just love that so many people begged him to play this game, and he's just like, and he tells us every day how he has such an open mind and all this stuff, and he's acting so insulted or like offended that this game lasts as long as it did. Like, come on.
I enjoyed the game. There's no way I would have played a game for 130 plus hours if I wasn't overall enjoying myself. I want to make that clear.
Okay.
But I also feel like this game,
I mean, honestly, he has nothing else to do, and it was obvious to me that he only wanted to beat it just so he could shit on it and say he played it. That's the kind of guy, that's the kind of guy DSP is. It's so that he can shit on a game, and then if someone says, well, you never played the game, he can now tell you, I did play the game, and it sucks. He's one of those people, and it's like, I do play games, and I do watch movies, and all this stuff. If there's a lot of like controversy with something, if it's polarizing or whatever, I may check it out because I want to see why. Why is it polarizing? That's kind of why I went through Final Fantasy VII Remake, because everyone said the ending is very like polarizing. Now, I did a video on that, so I'm not going to reiterate my points, but it's like, I at least gave the game a chance as well. Like, I didn't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to hate this game, fuck this game, oh. I have issues with the game. I did enjoy some of it. I don't know how I feel about the ATB system, and it's still true in Rebirth. I don't know how I feel about that combat system, but whatever. But there's things I try, and sometimes I may say, oh no, it sucks, or it's good, whatever. But I at least try to play it for what it is, and I just kind of experience it on my own. And I can elaborate my points on anything I fucking ingest as my opinion, dude. But this guy, it was as obvious. He just wanted to like be critical of it and say he played it, so then he can like convey his criticisms of it. And it's just not. It wasn't in a fair situation, or at least not either intentionally or not. Because it's one of those things you can't really say for sure. DSP went in wanting to hate it, but it was just like he just didn't enjoy it. He didn't want to participate in any of the romance options because those are only made for teenagers apparently, because obviously you wouldn't care for any other character in the game you're playing, right? Like it is so ridiculous how this guy gets so uncomfortable when it comes to romance, and it's like, why? He acts as if any romance in games are designed for people who are lonely and they want to jerk it off to fucking hentai, and it's like, that's a very narrow kind of view to have. Like, people care about the characters that they play because they may relate to them, they may empathize with them, they may like be interested in them, whatever. But he acts as if it's like these things are there so you can live your fantasy, but it's like it's part of the immersion of the fucking game. Whatever.
Basically got an insane amount of passes when other games would have been judged
Dude,
very harshly for.
This guy says this, but guess what? When the game won Game of the Year and people were asking about this game and all this stuff, he literally said, even people who played the game say that the third act falls apart and all this stuff. He said other people said this, and now he's saying that everyone gave it a pass. I mean, this is like me saying that people get From stuff to pass because they expect you to play the game in one difficulty and that's it. They don't expect you to. They don't want to give you options of how to play the game, and the game doesn't run smoothly, and everyone gives From stuff to pass. Well, I'm not giving them a pass. Elden Ring sucks. There's no easy mode. Like, I could do it too. I could literally say dumb shit like that all day, every day. I mean, there's stuff that people give games a pass sometimes, I guess, but I mean, come on.
Problems that this game has because there was this humongous hype behind it for whatever reason, and I don't know, because actually I'm not into D&D.
Dude,
I'm not into.
This is so dumb that he says that it had hype for no reason. This game had early release. It had an early release earlier last year or so, where everyone said, wow, this game is an early access, but it's so good. And that's why it got a lot of the hype. A lot of people enjoyed what they played, and they actually saw a lot of passion in that project, and the studio had a track record. This dude, and this is like par for the course for DSP, because he's the same guy that says people are popular for popular's sake, which I don't know what that means. How can you just become popular? He's like, well, Ninja became popular because he was popular for the sake of being popular. What does that mean?
Larian Studios games or this style of game. So I actually don't know where the hype came from. All right. I respect the game for a lot of the things it's trying to do, making essentially the longest retail game possible. I don't think I've ever played a video game before where I paid regular retail price and got this much content out of it, right? And it's not rehashed fetch quests. It's not go grind against 1,000 goblins. It's all unique. That's a huge undertaking and a huge accomplishment.
It is so funny. This dude, like, says people need to make meaningful content, all this stuff. Baldur's Gate does this, and it's, like, annoying to him. This is, like, really the kind of guy that people market games to, and then when he does shit like this, is like, I guess they don't want this, man. Guess that's it for that. Like, this dude just ruins anything, and it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. This guy is just a consumer. That's why you have Marvel movies and all this stuff, because of him. The art house films, they don't get the traction because people like DSP exist.
In my opinion. But FYI, I'm sorry. I do feel like this game is overhyped, is overpraised. It has these wonky problems, these jankiness to the game engine. The problem that it's just so complex. Again, it's so many moving parts that it is overhyped, is overpraised. It has these wonky problems, these jankiness to the game engine. The problem that it's just so complex. Again, it's so many moving parts.
No one is saying that this game is flawless. When DSP does this kind of shit, at this point, I demand him to cite his sources. Like, it is so annoying to hear him just go off on and on and on about people in general. But who are these people? Cite them then.
Parts that at some point you have to understand that when something goes wrong, it's just not fun anymore. And that's the point I'm at. Like after yesterday, I'm at my wit's end with this game. I just want it to end so we can say it's done, I've done it, move on. And that's not
Dude,
good.
like, when people are, like, frustrated, they kind of stop playing the game for a bit and walk away. Or they play another game. Like, I play Guilty Gear Strive. I get heated in online matches from time to time. And guess what I do after that? I hop off and play something else. Because it's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be fucking yelling. You know what I mean? And I have been trying to get, like, better at just reacting to how I play these games. But sometimes, you just have to, like, know when to fold or when to take a break. And this dude is like, he's the one who put himself in this situation. Like, dude, you don't have to rush to beat the game. Like, what's coming out? Nothing. The games he wants to play are games that are already old by the time he's gonna play them. What else is coming out that he needs to play to beat them with? Nothing. And he's acting as if there's something coming that he needs to get to. But I thought you make your own schedule and you're a chill variety streamer. This dude, it doesn't even know what he wants to be. This is just him saying words and not doing what they mean. I'm a variety streamer. That's why I have to play Baldur's Gate 3 every day. Oh, I'm a variety streamer. I don't have to play AAA games, but I gotta play AAA games, guys. Like what does this mean?
You shouldn't have that feeling when you've invested.
I mean, it's really just because you say you're something doesn't mean you're that thing. You have to go and do the thing you say you are. Like, if you're a variety streamer, be a variety streamer. I guess I'm a Persona streamer because I play a lot of or a JRPG streamer, and I play those games. Why not? I also play fighting games, but it is what it is.
30 hours into a game, that one game of the year, you shouldn't have a feeling of incredible exhaustion and just wanting to move on at the end of it. And I do. And that's my honest take. And listen, I'm sure there's tons of people out there who don't have that. Have a feeling of incredible exhaustion. And that's not good. You shouldn't have that feeling when you've invested 130 hours into a game, that one game of the year. You shouldn't have a feeling of incredible exhaustion and just wanting to move on at the end of it. And I do. And that's my honest take. And listen, I'm sure there's tons of people out there who don't.
He played it like every day for months. Like, you would feel that way about any game, honestly. I mean, the only game I think is that doesn't stand that for me at least, is Guilty Gear. I mean, it's a multiplayer game, so it doesn't really have an end point, but honestly, the reason why I play a lot of Guilty Gear is the music, and I love the characters. The music is so good. I just love fighting to the music. It's so good. That's why, like, Street Fighter 6 I'm kind of disappointed with. I like the game, but the thing is, if I can't choose the music, I don't care. Like, the best I can do is just pick Mono and just have her theme play. And it's like, I love her theme. I like her theme way more in that game than any other character's theme, but it's like, I also want to play Jury, I also want to play Kimberly, but I don't want to listen to their themes. I want to listen to Mono's theme. And it's like, okay, I guess I gotta just play Mono forever until they decide to give you the option to change your music. And it's like, come on. At least Guilty Gear, it's like, you can just choose any song you want. You could have, like, Lily play. I think Talk About You is also a song you listen to. The only song they don't have you play is what's it called? Made in Heaven? No. It's Heaven. I know Heaven is is in the song. Is in the name. Oh my god, I'm like spacing on this song, and it's like one of my favorite songs. It's a Strive song, so it's in the Strive soundtrack. But whatever, you know what song, hopefully. It's that one, and it's like, man, I can't listen to that, but whatever. At least I can listen to Big Blast Sonic, Wanna Be Crazy, the new song, the banger, Symphony, ABBA's theme. great song. That song has been stuck in my head all week. It's, I'm not one for this world. Uh, I just want to make a difference. Great song. Great song. Great lyrics. Great everything. Banger.
Have that feeling or never did during the course of playing the game. I can only share with you my thoughts from my personal experience. This game fell apart in the third act. It really did. Like, there's so many problems we've had in this third act, and this is just the icing on the cake now, that it's hard to recommend someone invest this much time into a game that at the end can ruin you because it decides to. You know what I mean? So anyway,
But you could just, again, he could have just reloaded the game. Whatever.
let's talk about it, all right?
He just wants
Let's
to
go
get it
ahead
out
and
of the way,
discuss
man.
the stream from yesterday. Just to get this out of the way, here's the schedule.
Look how long. And then we're going to schedule. Dude, this dude's podcast is so fucking bad. And then when you try to tell him, oh, can you like change it? No, stupid. But again, someone told him, why recap the daily wrap when the daily wrap is to recap? And he's like, well, in case you missed the daily wrap. This is the fallacy DSP has that is like so mind numbing. And it really illustrates how stupid he is as a fucking person. Just as a person. He uploads the stream as the archive on his YouTube channel in parts. Whatever, right? Correct? But when he wants to change the time, when he's asked, like, oh, why don't you play Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow night or whatever, I can't do that. People will miss the stream. But then when he finishes the stream, in case you missed it, I'm uploading all the parts to his YouTube channel. But they're there on the stream. But if you play it and they miss the stream, then won't they just watch the archive? You know, like it's so stupid. Then what's the point of archiving then? Just so you could have free ad revenue? Like it is so obvious to a degree that he expects that people who watch the stream are gonna watch the stream, then go back and watch the video on demand again, or he thinks that there's two audiences strictly. But it's like, why operate so rigidly? This dude is so rigid about everything he does in his career. The most flexible job he has on the planet. This is the most flexible thing you could do, and he does it so rigidly that it's like it defeats the point. It defeats the purpose of anything. I've never seen anyone just not understand the field of work they're in as DSP. Like, come on.
For the week. Today, tomorrow, and Friday. Baldur's Gate 3, Like a Dragon Infinite Well. So that way, we can move on. And
I love that that's the schedule, and it still is taking forever to do the schedule segment.
Play Dragon's Dogma 2. We can perhaps play a new game, such as Alone in the Dark, which I'm actually very interested in.
Remember when we used to, like, hype up Rise of the Ronin, and now it's Alone in the Dark? I have seen more people talk about Rise of the Ronin than fucking Alone in the Dark. And he wants us to believe it's the opposite. Okay.
Interested in now, and I think you guys would enjoy. A lot of people are like, yeah, survival horror is up your alley. We want to see it. Or maybe going back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I want to start my co-op playthrough with my wife.
Why does it want to do Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? I thought we were doing RPG Overload.
Of Beyond Two Souls, which is going to be really neat because we haven't done a full co-op playthrough of anything before, because this one's narrative based and she's never played it. I think it's going to be super fun.
And I'm just guessing he's going to like kind of spoil the game to her. I just hate this idea so much. But it's like a monkey paw. Oh, I want actual like gameplay, but it's a movie game. Oh. And it's like, it is so funny how this dude talks about his wife playing video games to the point where I am sure, positive, that she either sucks worse than Phil playing games, as everyone suspected, because DSP had to help her play video games, and I mean, come on. So there's that. Secondly, every time that they play a game together now, it has to be a game that's controllable, that's not like an actual video game. That's why when like people are, I keep bringing this up every video it seems, but when people were pinging me about River City Girls, I just knew that was never gonna get played for a lot of reasons. So I feel very safe and secure that this dude will not even touch the game. He won't even look at it. Like they brought it up, he's like, oh, okay, we'll think about it, and then he never talked about it ever again. We never heard of it again, and it's gone because you can actually die in the game, and it can be challenging. One more so than two. Two, I kind of thought was a little bit easier. The only hard part in two was the tech company boss. That boss fight was not that good. I'll be honest. That was probably the worst boss fights. I like the idea. It was kind of cool in some degree, but it just wasn't fun. Uh, and then there's like the Lost Wood style maze, and that was okay. But the boss fight had good music though, so it did have that. But yeah, it two was a little bit easier than one. One is still pretty hard, but it's still a fun game. But they're not gonna play it because it's an actual video game that requires you to do more than just move forward and press one button.
Um, essentially,
I mean,
I
and
feel
also they talked about in their day off segment that she played a game that was a chill game that she didn't want to do any effort in, and it's like, this is what you want to play? I mean, I guess I get it, but every time they talk about the games that she plays, it's so boring. The only game that's interesting now, I guess, is Dragon's Dogma 2. It's also funny they both bought the game, so that's 140 down the drain, dude, or whatever the fuck. So there's that, and I'm still mad. I'm still salty. I may do a video on her opinion on Persona 3 because, like, let me just say, I've never heard a more dumb opinion than that. I've heard people try to defend Teddy to me, and that I can at least understand more than people who are shitting on Persona 3. They're just factually wrong. I'm sorry. Look, I'll let you have Persona 4. I'll let you have Teddy and Yosuke and yellow tints and TVs and shit. But when you fucking shot Persona 3, that's crossing the line. That's like just, you're just wrong, okay? You can have Persona 4, sure, yippee for you. But when you shot Persona 3, I know you're full of shit. I just know it. There's no way. And then they're like, oh, Tartarus is boring, it's a grind. I played Persona 3 FES, I played a little bit of Persona 3 Portable, and I played Persona 3 Reload, okay? If they think Tartarus is boring and repetitive, they were not paying attention. The new stuff they add to Tartarus is so fucking good. It's so good. The border floors, the gatekeeping fights are really good. I love the monad doors. All this cool shit they added, and it's like, oh, Tartarus is boring, man. Fucking idiots. They're fucking stupid, and that proves it to me. I've never heard a more wrong opinion in my life. I mean, there's a lot of things you could say about Persona 3 Reload that's like a criticism, but I mean, Tartarus is a banger of a fucking dungeon. And look, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. They're better. Tartarus is a better dungeon than Persona 4's dungeons. Yeah, I said it. But whatever, sure, you can have that. Persona 5 dungeons are very hit or miss. Persona 3 still takes the crown on that. Persona 5 is only good in some cases. The fact that you play Persona 5 and you're like, oh, this dungeon good, that dungeon bad. Oh, this sucks. This is good. Charter's already won, baby, because it's a consistent quality of fun. Of just each level, the higher you go, the fun it gets. The different different level design. Great. The way they change it in Reload is beautiful. It's beautiful. They all look more unique than they did in the PS2 version. And DSP and Cat are gonna try to have you believe that Tartarus is boring, redundant grind, or whatever the fuck. And this dude gives you the most redundant bullshit, and he's complaining about Tartarus? Fuck out of here. So I'm sorry. Look, Persona 4 fans, you can have your little opinion, but look, I will say Persona 4 fans are a little bit more goated than this fucker. So there you go. There you go, man. And there's your Persona rant for the day.
Like, we are definitely ready to move on, and that's why I need to push to finish these games. Okay, so that's just the schedule for the week. Okay, just so you guys know, we're not going to be doing anything crazy or
I feel like
anything.
I'm alienating
We just need to finish these
viewers the
games
more
and we
rants
move
I
on to
go
new
on.
stuff.
But you know
I know I
what?
played Dragon's Dogma 1, or
We
excuse
have a
me,
little
Dragon's
fun
Dogma 2
here.
on Friday when it came out for one day, and I haven't touched it since, and I can't till we finish these games. All
Why?
right?
Why
Okay,
can't
so I don't
you?
really need to go too
Like,
crazy
dude,
here.
why can't he? He could play it. He alternated Baldur's Gate 3 with other games in the past, but no, he wants to rush through Baldur's Gate now. Okay.
Talking about the schedule, you know what it is. Okay? Now,
But when it's a Fallout game like Bethesda shit or Bethesda games, we can play the game for months. Okay.
let's go very briefly through yesterday's stream of Baldur's Gate 3. Okay? First things first, we had finished up the Iron Throne quest line. And right off the bat, I was confused because I didn't really get a reward for it. Like, I saved everyone inside the Iron Throne prison, including Duke Ravengard, including, what was it,
Maybe that's the reward. You saved them.
Gollum, the Mind Flayer, the friendly Mind Flayer, including all of the gnomes and the other prisoners that were in there. And I'm like, so I'm definitely going to get a great reward because I basically did it flawlessly. I got nothing. Wow, thanks for that. Thanks for one of the most anxiety-inducing...
Now, he does this, right? And then with Asterion taking the stuff that was a slow burn style fucking thing, he doesn't think in his little pig brain, maybe the reward of this action will be paid off down the road, maybe. No, that can't be it, right? Correct?
parts of the game, literally not rewarding me in any way for it. Then we went to go to Amalum's group, which we had never even knew that they had a building in Baldur's Gate before, and he basically rewards you with a bunch of items that are completely worthless at the end of the game. So why they would hand those to you, I have no idea. We loot the house, and there's nothing in the house either. There's actually a big safe in a hidden room. It's empty. Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. So then, we went to Steelwatch, okay? And man,
Now,
right.
Get this. I guess stealing isn't as bad as what Asterion wanted to do, supposedly. But why was he giving Asterion such grief about not being a good guy when this guy wants to loot people's houses?
Off the bat, we have problems. So I'm trying to sneak into Steelwatch.
I mean, this dude got robbed in real life. And he said that's awful. Why is he wanting to loot other people's homes, huh?
And the game's guard aggroes not to my main character, but to Lae'zel for no reason, because the game should always aggro to your party leader. I don't care about positioning. I don't care about that bullshit.
Oh my god. And then he says this shit. At first, I was like, okay, I'm on board. They should aggro to the main character. Makes sense to me. But then he mentions positioning and says, I don't care about that. Which then tells me, well, the game probably cares because they probably want the gamer to care. So it doesn't matter if... It doesn't matter at that point. You got seen. So this is... You know, okay, I'm gonna fucking... I'm going off again. I'm going off. This fucker is so... It's so disingenuous about this. He omits such key information when he complains about this stuff, and then when you think about it, it's like, so was it really a glitch? Like, I'm mostly talking about the room loading shit, because if the game aggroes to another party member or whatever, the game is doing what it's doing. The spirit thing, I'll give him that as a glitch, but if the other thing is caused because of that, then it's not a glitch. It's because he didn't care about the positioning.
Just dumb shit. When you're playing an RPG, your party leader should be the one involved in any dialogue options, period. I don't care about their rationale. It's just bad game design, okay? So,
but that's the style of the game. Like, oh my god. Like, I guess you could even debate about that design choice, but the thing is, it's like, it depends on how it's implemented. This is a thing that's I'd assume I didn't get that far in Baldur's Gate 3. I just got to the beginning of it, then I dropped it because I wanted to play other games. So maybe one day I'll go back to Baldur's Gate 3 and I'll have a more finessed opinion. But I'm assuming, correct, that the game probably kind of shows you the importance of positioning and your party and all this stuff. So it's part of the game design, and it functions as part of it. Like the thing is, and I talked about this with Charles on the Game Club, and it's like, I'm gonna use Death's Door as an example because he brings this up that the game gives you this rule set in that game, and then near the end, it kind of just ignores the rules it gives you, and you're just gonna have to like roll with it. And it's like, then what's the point? Like that kind of shit. And it's like, okay, I can understand that because you know you learned this thing and you don't really either need to learn it or it just kind of steamroll or just ignores it or whatever. That's one thing. But this game, so far from what every time he's been complaining about it, it seems like it keeps track of a lot of stuff, and that's kind of important. It instills that throughout the game, it seems. But this dude is like not willing to engage in the game's design on any fundamental level at all. He just wants to play it as another RPG, but not as the game that it is. Like it's so weird. Even though he acknowledges it's a specific kind of game, but it's like he only wants to engage with some of it, not all of it. And it's like, you know, you can't really complain at that point. Like, I play a lot of games. Like, you know, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And sure, it's like, I don't give a fuck about the Charlie shit. I don't think I'm gonna do them, to be honest. They're not fun. And it's like, I could complain about how I don't have any summons, but I do know at the end of the day is because I just didn't do the Chadley stuff. Now, I may say I don't agree that summons should be luck behind Chadley because I don't think that makes any like sense or it's cool. I think the summons should be baked into the game's world, and you should actually just get them just through the game's world. I shouldn't have to go to a simulation through Chadley to get a summon. Like that to me just it's like, why would I want to talk to Chadley in the first place? Fuck Chadley. Get him out of the game. No one likes Chadley. So it's like, that's one thing. But it goes back to me acknowledging that, yeah, I'm just choosing not to work with that game system. But it's not the fault of the game. I can say it's a bad idea and all that stuff, sure, but, you know, it's a little more nuanced than just saying, oh, bad game design and move on in my life, you know? Like,
Picks Lae'zel. Well, can't do the check because Lae'zel
or
doesn't
it's like,
have
you know, or it's like the ATB. I don't know how I feel about the ATB system because I understand how it works and like the point of it, but it's like sometimes some of the fights kind of devolve into me running in circles until I get an ATB meter, or just kind of running up, poking and running back, and it's like I don't like that kind of gameplay when I'm just running in circles. When turn-based combat is a little bit more like straightforward and a little bit more like fun to think about. You know, think Shin Megami Tensei 3. That's my favorite turn-based system. It's a great system. It's fun.
Speech check, you know, ability. So let's reload. So we reload, and then
Wait.
it's just bad game design. Okay.
Wait.
So it picks Lae'zel. Well, can't do the check because Lae'zel doesn't have any speech check, you know, ability. So let's reload.
He reloads for that. But he told us, you know, in the past, oh, I will not reload if the decision fucked me over or whatever the fuck. He reloads for that. Gets a glitch where the spear disappears. Won't reload for that. Okay.
So we reload, and then we do it again, and this time Dark Scale Fill gets detected. I pass the speech check, which says, oh, the guard lets you in, and then the guard immediately aggroes to me again and does exactly the same speech check a second time. And I'm like, I passed the speech check. Why is the guard acting like I didn't do it, and now we have to do it again? It doesn't make any sense. It's a game bug. So we have to fight the guard. I kill the guard, and we get inside. So that's bug number 1, by the way. We get inside, and there's a room full of people talking.
So, look how dumb that is. One person failed the speech check. Reloads for that. One reload for that. Like, already we're going back on, I won't reload if this goes wrong, man. This dude is ridiculous.
Okay?
Okay.
And I'm like, listen. Now, in the entirety of this game, if you use stealth, you can sneak by entire encounters, entire situations. You can skip fights. Just use stealth. So I said, I'm going to use the same
Oh my
mechanic I've
god.
used in this game.
Look at
If you
this.
use stealth, you can sneak by entire encounters, entire situations. You can skip fights. Just use stealth. So I said,
He did a little mouth movement. It was like he was like, jeez, man. And he's been drooping a lot when he's talking. It's like he's having like a, oh, I forgot what it's called. It's like when you have like partial either, I don't say a stroke, but it's like partial paralysis of your face or whatever. And it's nothing serious, by the way, because I think my dad had it, and then it went away. I mean, it's something that just kind of happens when you get older. But I don't know the ins and outs because I was in college when that happened, so I don't know the the context. I came home and they told me like, oh yeah, this happened to him. I was like, oh, that's it.
I'm going to use the same mechanic I've used the whole game, and it's always worked. No reason to think it wouldn't here. Okay? I actually sneak by the entire room of people. It's a mix of like slaves and enemies and everything in there. Okay? And I go to the next room, and I go into a room where already there's combat. It looks like the gnomes or dwarves or whoever they are fighting the guards. So a fight ensues. Okay, well, they see me. All right, we're going to fight. But what happens is the game decided, again, what great coding here and what great writing. There was supposed to be a
What great gate? What great coding and great writing? What does the writing have to do with the game's code? I mean, does he mean like writing code? But that's what coding kind of means. What?
conversation that was supposed to happen in the room before that's tied to the story of the Steelwatch Foundry. So because I skipped it, the game decides now to
So, oh my god, DSP. He just told us that this was a glitch, but then he told us that he skipped it. Maybe that's what caused it, Phil. And again, he could just reload like he did the other time. But no.
initiate two fights at once in two different rooms. Despite the fact none of my party is in that first room, the camera decides it's going to jump back and forth between people in two completely different rooms, making the camera go light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Now, again, if it were me screwing up, right, that'd be one thing.
But you did kind of screw up. Oh my god, fucking spam. Of course, it wouldn't be a video if I don't get a phone call. Get out of here. Shut up. Oh my god. Dude. Literally this is me. Fur. Literally. This is like a great figure. I like this figure, and then it can't stay on the fucking scooter. Like, why not put a little hole in her like shoe and have a little peg in the fucking scooter and you just snap it on? I mean, come on. This is bullshit. You want me to make your fucking figures for you? You know what? You're just gonna chill here for now. Just lie down.
What if I aggroed in the first room? Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Now, again, if it were me screwing up, right, that'd be one thing. What if I aggroed in the first room and then I aggroed in the second room? My party was split. That's happened before in the playthrough. And now I kind of understand why that happened. I didn't do that. The game just decided, oh, there was a conversation you were supposed to psychically know about in the first room tied to the story.
But how did you skip it though? Whatever.
You shouldn't skip it. If you do, now a fight ensues.
But again, why are you skipping dialogue in a game you haven't played before? He's acting as if like this is his second time playing it. If I'm playing a game for the first time, I don't skip dialogue unless it like when I played like a Dragon. There is times where I know the dialogue is meaningless, and that's usually when they don't voice act it, or if the context is like near the end, like there's a guy staying in front of the limousine or whatever the fuck, telling you, "Oh, I'll take you to like the final part of the game." It's like, okay, that I don't need to read. It's not important. You know, whatever.
You're also in another fight, so now there's two fights going on at once. Basically, the game becomes completely unplayable Because what happens is the turns bar glitched and it had turns appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing endlessly. It wouldn't even settle. It was just like wobbling around all fucked up. And I started playing it and people were like, dude, you just got to reload. This thing is going nuts and it doesn't look like it's even working right. Like, all right, so I'll reload it, right? So that's bug number 2. Sorry. And you guys say, well, that's not a bug. Well, it is, because nowhere else in the game does this occur, where you have a required conversation in the room before you cannot skip with stealth, and then it creates 2 fights in 2 separate rooms going on at the same time.
Wait, what?
Because nowhere else in the game does this occur, and it doesn't look like it's even working right. Like, all right, so I'll reload it, right? So that's bug number 2. Sorry. And you guys say, well, that's not a bug. Well, it is, because nowhere else in the game does this occur, where you have a required conversation in the room.
That's not, but oh. Sure, you could argue the outcome was a bug, but he skipped dialogue. That part isn't a bug. So in a way, he caused the bug to happen because he skipped a conversation. Again, you're playing this game for the first time and you just want to skip dialogue now? But it's the game's fault, right? Like this is the shit that's like maddening. You know, I listened to this at first and I thought it's only gonna talk about like the other ridiculous part. But no, this is even dumber. Because again, he literally just says I did this and then this happened. It's a game bug. You know, like
before you cannot skip with stealth, and then it creates 2 fights in 2 separate rooms going on at the same time with the camera juggling back and forth. It shouldn't happen like that. So either it's bad coding or it's a game bug. You can call it whatever you want. It's a problem. So that's like major problem number 2 of the stream. Okay?
Okay.
So then I reload.
And again, he's acting as if everyone said there's no bugs in this game. Like, I don't think anyone said that.
And I said, well, I guess I got to go engage with the first group of people, because if I don't, it's going to screw up if I skip and go to the second. So I engage with the first group of people, big fight. I save everyone in the room. Literally, I saved every single slave that was there. Good. So now they're all on my side. And one of them actually says, hey, I have the ability to disable the foundry. Get me into that final room, and I'll do it for you. Okay, sounds good. But I need to long rest before we do that, because I've already had 2 fights. So let's long rest. So we walk outside. We long rest. We come back. That person has disappeared from the universe. Where the fuck did they go? Why are they not here? I don't know. You tell me. Does it make sense that they would be there waiting for me? I go long rest. I come back. They've just vanished. Everyone else in the room is still there. Just the one person I need who's critical to the story in this Steel Foundry has disappeared. So now people are looking it up online and say, oh, he's at your camp. Why? Why did he follow me to camp? He's in the world. Everyone else stayed in the world. Why did he follow me to camp? Doesn't even make sense. Well, go get him. Okay, I go to my camp. He is there. I talk to him. Come with me. Okay. We go back to the world. He glitches.
Maybe because whatever.
He literally gets stuck. He won't walk. He won't talk. He just stands there like a fucking statue, completely uninteractable. I'm holding down the button that does the area selection. He can't even be selected. It's like he's there, but he does not exist. So guess what? That option to complete the quest has been removed from my game because the game glitched out. That's bug number 3.
Again. So after he did that little like combat thing, why didn't he save? And then he could reload. Again, this dude makes multiple save files to the point where it's like offensive. And the one time he like has a reason to do it, he doesn't do it. Which again makes me wonder, what's the point of making multiple saves if you're not gonna use them? For this kind of purpose. He tells us he does it for glitch type fucking things. A glitch happens. Well, it is what it is, man.
That's 3 already. We're not even halfway through the stream yet. 3 huge critical bugs happening in the game within like an hour and a half period. Okay? So I said, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Now I have a bomb to blow this place up. I don't want to do that. In fact, the game kind of leaned towards don't do that. That's a bad karma choice. Because if you do that, you can end up hurting people. All right? So I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I guess that's the only option I have now because the guy's glitched. He won't come shut it down. So I guess we got to do this. So we end up going back into the next room, which is the room where we initially tried to fight, and it generated the 2-room fight that was all bugged out. We fight that fight, we win. A few people sadly died
Oh
in
god,
that
the
fight,
police
and there
are
was nothing I
coming.
could really do about it because the robots are self-destructing, and I can't just save everybody. But we did pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the final room. Big boss, excellent, good fight. I kicked its ass. You know, my lightning is like ultra powered now. And all right, so we're at the final part, and here's the thing that says bring the guy to it for him to deactivate it. So I go to try to get him. He just won't. I tried reloading, everything, nothing. He's just frozen forever. He's just bugged in the game universe literally
Oh, so he
forever. He
did
won't
he
move.
did try reloading.
So
Okay.
I guess I got to use the bomb. So luckily, because I had done what I had done, meaning I had done the Iron Throne first, the workers had revolted against their captors, and everyone who I had rescued survives. If I hadn't done Iron Throne first and I blew up the foundry, everyone would have died, and that's the bad karma. You see? So, again, so many moving parts, you can't track what becomes what outcome. I had no idea what the outcome was. I was trying to do one outcome that was supposed to be a good option, but apparently you could have done it this way anyway. If I had known that, maybe I wouldn't have cared about the guy bugging out, but it never should have happened to begin with. Okay?
Okay. So does
So,
so
there's
that was just a meaningless thing to complain about in a way.
of the foundry. Actually, we get a really cool quest completion where all these factors from the game factor in. Basically, the
Factors
the iron
factor in.
gnomes get their big reward, or not reward, but their big like end game plot. And I was like, oh, that was actually a cool outcome. I liked that outcome, because if I hadn't done all these other things during the game, I wouldn't have gotten that quest outcome, and I actually really liked it. Okay, so
Yes.
in reality, even with
In
all these
reality.
bugs that really were annoying as shit, at least I got to a good quest outcome. Okay, so now the only thing left to do next is let's go take out Gortash. All right, and immediately I get some advice. I think it was actually Dark Gaming. He says, well, if you go in the front door, everything's going to aggro to you. Now, the good news is the Steel Watch is deactivated, so the robots won't attack you. But if you go in the front door, all the other guards are going to aggro to you. I said, well, you know what? I had actually found a back way in much earlier on. The first time we had gone to this worm fort castle, whatever the hell it's called, we had found a back way up a ladder. I was like, maybe that's what that's actually for, right? So, I'm like, let's do this. So we go up the ladder. Well, first of all, the game has this weird thing where I guess if you take a scroll of feather falling, it affects your whole party. But if you chug a potion, it only affects the one person. Again, I've played 130 hours into the game. I didn't even know that. Again, so
Okay.
too many moving parts, too many factors, too many things to know or remember. So I had a little bit of an error there where I split my party up. I'll take the blame for that one because it's just lack of knowledge of the game.
Lack of
Okay,
knowledge. He
but then we
played the game this long, and couldn't learn that. I guess. I don't
get to the
know.
back of the building.
Whatever.
We crawl up the ladder. We go inside. There's no enemies whatsoever in line of sight. I'm trying to use, like, basically kind of like sneak around. Immediately we get detected and a fight ensues. There's no one there. There's literally no one there, no one looking at me. I had the line of sight activated, and no one saw me in line of sight, and the game aggroed to me anyway. Now, you can argue maybe you just didn't see it. You're right. Maybe I didn't. But I was being careful. I was trying to be
You're
stealthy.
right.
That was the whole point.
Maybe I didn't see it. Oh my god, DSP. Just why
Me going in the back. Now I got an extra fight I got to do because the game's being stupid about it. All right, whatever. We beat the
But
fight.
now the game is stupid about it. Oh, okay.
Blah blah blah. We
Blah,
get to the
blah, blah.
Gortash boss fight. Okay, the
Blah, blah,
Gortash
blah.
boss fight is, in my opinion, and now I'm 133 plus hours into this game, the most
Oh my god.
unnecessarily
Sorry, that's not
complex fight in the whole game. And I've had fights that were puzzles, and I've had fights that there was a million enemies. This fight has far too many factors to the point where it's impossible for you to actually focus on what you're doing because there's a million things going on. There's flame traps and turrets on the walls that are constantly shooting grenades and fire. There's a force field on Gortash that protects him from damage, that reflects projectiles, and there's two pieces of machinery on the wall that apparently make the field work, but it's not clear how or what you need to do to attack those things. And the room is full of other enemies as well. Gortash, of course, isn't a normal enemy. He's a boss, so now he's got all these special abilities and things you've never even seen before, okay? So immediately you start to read the descriptions of everything, and you're like, okay, so this is resistant to this. This has projectiles that will...
Dude, like, he played this game for so long. and he's complaining about reading resistances. Like, dude, you could like manage it a little bit better. Like, it's kind of turn based or whatever, correct? Why not just focus on one at a time, or what, or two at a time, or whatever? Split your party up and have like, okay, these people can take this out because maybe they have something past that resistance. Like, this is like really, really annoying to listen to.
Bounce off of this. This is going to absorb this damage. It's going to reflect this damage. It's highly.
Dude, imagine him playing SMT3. I kind of want to play that game more and more because I know what he's gonna complain about in that game. Oh my god, I went to the Temple of Mao, right? Or no, is it the Labyrinth? I don't know, but like every time I walk somewhere, like I take damage. So I would do that. Then I go to this other floor, and then I fly, warp, either down or up. I was like, what's going on? I can't keep track of this. Then I do this random encounters. So it's like beep, 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 and then like the encounter goes up, and then like I do an encounter, right? And then like they have a turn, and then they just start stacking buffs. I was like, huh? What kind of game stacks buffs? And then like I have to keep track on how many times they buff their party, how many debuffs they debuff my party, and I was like, this is too much for me. This is way too hard.
To this damage, but it's weak to this damage. You got to sit in this fight for 10 minutes before you can even make a move. All right? That's not fun. I'm sorry, it's not. It's frustrating, especially when you're at the end of a stream and you just want to finish this. And it's like, why the fuck do I have to sit here and study this room for 10 minutes to figure out what the fuck's going on? It's way too complicated. You know, I get it. Okay, it's one of the big 3 bosses before the end of the game. It's still annoying.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't enjoy that because it's too complicated. I don't want to sit there studying like I'm a fucking scholar of D&D to do a simple fight. All right? So it was very...
I like he says this, but he wants everyone to be a scholar to play fucking FromSoft games and Street Fighter and all this stuff. Like, dude, just shut up.
annoying to me. And basically, as I start, okay, it just becomes a shit show. That's like the best way I can describe it. So both Darkscale Phil and Karlach are based solely on projectile gameplay. Well, guess what? Everyone in this room is immune to projectiles. It bounces them back. Okay? So immediately, I use Karlach and I throw the spear, this is the big thing that we're going to be freaking out about now. So what is it called?
We're gonna be freaking out about this. We're gonna freak out, guys. You're freaking out. Oh man, but that's like why it's so. I knew this game was gonna be boring. He wanted to be projectile so he could stay away from any action because he likes boring stuff.
Anta Nirasha. I can't remember the name of the spear. It's incredibly
Fanta
rare.
Nirasha.
You can only get it in one
Is it made out of
tiny
Fanta?
situation. Nirulna. That's the name of the spear. Nirulna. Okay? It's a legendary spear. You actually get it when you first arrive in the area of Baldur's Gate, the outskirts. There's that fair or like circus going on. Not circus, it's like a festival. And in there, there's a genie. And the genie, if you piss him off, he warps you to a dinosaur land. And if you complete the dinosaur land, you get this spear as a reward at the end in a chest. Okay? Incredibly rare. This spear is meant to be thrown. Rare. And when you throw it, if it successfully connects with an enemy, it creates an area of effect range of like... thunder damage. So it's cool because, number one, unlike other thrown items, it's guaranteed area of effect damage if it connects, and it can hit a whole group of enemies, okay? Number two, it stacks regular and thunder damage, so you're getting this, like, big double damage effect. It's incredibly cool. If you have a throw character build, it's super good. Well, I built Karlach to use the spear. So not only does she throw the spear, but she has a glove on that gives her a chance, it's a random chance, to actually teleport to where the spear lands and switch places with the enemy she hit. This has helped tremendously in my game where there have been hard to reach enemies and bosses, and I teleport them right into my team, and now they're screwed. They get beat up because they're exposed, okay? Now, in addition, with Karlach, you can make a build.
Man, it's so meaningless. He's like so happy about this spear and all this stuff. Like he's kind of like bragging how cool this build was, but he also told us this playthrough was gonna be all like stream chat helping him. So it's kind of stupid and pointless. Because then it just becomes, well, Stream Chat made this spear. They should be the ones upset, not you, Phil.
based on her rage, where when you activate her frenzy mode, she now has a thing that's called frenzied throw. This adds a chance to make the enemy go prone.
Okay, yes.
Basically, the enemy's like almost stun locked. And that's how I actually beat the Raph.
Dude, look at the fucking thing. Karlach space build strategy. Like, man, let's take a look at the chapters. Let's view the chapters. Let's see, 24. So yeah, Karlach spear. What is a spear build strategy? Oh man, I misread it. Guys, I'm very smart. Leave me alone. Issues with projectile mechanics, coding flaws, and inconsistent logic. No, don't. No! Oh my god. Uh oh. We can fix this. There we go.
Hardest fights in the game, and I just slapped them around with this strategy. Okay?
Alright.
So, pretty good. In addition to that, I recently, at the end of my build of Karlach, I got this ability called, I think it's a feat called Tavern Brawler. And that just makes throwable items even better. All right? So basically, she's crazy good. This throwable spear, Nirulna, big area of effect damage, buffed with all of her abilities, and she can teleport enemies around. Super duper good, right?
Super good.
Now, here's the problem. I don't understand that a thrown item like that is considered a projectile. Like, I would think a projectile would be like a magic spell, like magic missile,
okay,
right? Or you're shooting a lightning bolt, you're throwing a fireball. That's a projectile to me. I'm not thinking a projectile is a legendary weapon, but that's on me, right? Totally, that's on me. That if I didn't understand that that was going to be a projectile, all right? I even said, let's
You're throwing a spear, stupid.
try it. And it's hilarious. I throw it, it just goes bink right off his force field, comes right back at her. Oh, bonk. Hits her right in the face. It's funny as hell. Like, all right, well, I gave it a shot. It didn't work. But now ensues,
Whatever.
all right, the comedy of errors that this game did in this fight. So eventually what ends up happening is the spear lands on the ground. For some reason, Karlach drops the spear, all right? And I think it was because, again, I threw it at an enemy. It was a regular enemy, not Gortash. And they also had the projectile ability. And here's what happened. I actually watched it back, and I know exactly what happened. So as I told you, when you do Frenzied Throw, which is her Karlach's special ability, there's a chance that it will knock the enemy down and make them go prone. I threw the spear at an enemy. It bounced off their force field, came back at Karlach, hit her with the Frenzied Throw, and it knocked her down. So because she fell, she couldn't catch the spear. But it actually is its own contradictory logic, and here's why. Per the game's logic,
oh
if the
my
spear
god,
connects,
dude! Him talking about logic is something else.
she auto catches it. That's how it works. If the spear connects with any enemy or any person, she catches the spear back. That's how the return spear gameplay mechanic works in Baldur's Gate 3. Okay? So just by logic alone, even if she hit herself with a move, she should auto catch the spear.
But if she's prone, how can she auto catch it? He's like if the auto catch makes like her arm like a machine, like a robot. Like, all right, I am programmed to auto catch. Bam. But if she's prone, what's to say the auto catch was gonna be enabled? I mean, DSP, come on.
It connected. But the game says, oh, well, in this case, she hit herself with her own move that caused her to go prone. So even though in this case she should.
Okay, DSP should like test this theory and then like Cat should come in, right? She should throw a baseball at his head and then see if he can catch it after he falls on the ground. Can he catch the ball if Cat pummels his head with a baseball? That'd be an interesting test. I want that. He should record. He should stream it. He should stream this test. He could call it DSP Test It.
Catch the spear, cancel out that line of logic, and just make her fall and the spear hits the ground. That makes absolutely no sense. From any logic perspective, it doesn't. They just arbitrarily decided, in this case, erase this line. Even though this is how it works, the spear hits the ground. She hit herself with her own move that caused her to go prone, so even though in this case she should catch the spear, cancel out that line of logic.
Why would she catch it if she's prone, stupid? She's on the ground. Whatever.
And just make her fall and the spear hits the ground. That makes absolutely no sense. From any logic perspective, it doesn't. They just arbitrarily decided, in this case, erase this line. Even though this is how it works the whole game, in this case, just erase this line of code in this certain random...
Oh my god, they act as if this was like a designed fight. Like, oh, erase this code. Like, they're sitting over the guy's coding the game, and the boss is like over his shoulder. Erase that code. Right there? Erase it. Erase it when this happens. Like, that's not what happens. The game probably was like, well, if they go prone, they can't do anything when they're prone. Again, like, is it just they're on the ground and they're conscious, or are they like down? Like I'm gonna use as a Persona term so I can understand it. So in Persona, right, you land a weakness on an enemy and they're down. Now I'm gonna use Persona 3 FES as a specific example because this does it way better. When they're down, they lose a turn because they spend a turn getting up. That's a turn for them, and then it moves on to the next enemy, or the next party member, or whatever. So is it like that where Karlach was just down, and she can't get up unless it's like her turn, so she can't auto catch because she's down. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is, because, I mean, I can't imagine anyone catching anything when they're prone. Anyway, whatever. Because it's also a very weird term to say prone. It's almost like he wants to say stunned, but he doesn't want to say that because it would expose that he's wrong.
Rare situation, and there's no way you would ever know that. That's their own judgment call to say, erase this outcome, even though it happens every other time, because we feel like it. It's crap. It's bad.
But that didn't happen, though. He says, oh, it happens every other time, but that happens when it hits an enemy, not yourself. So, of course, if it hits an enemy, you'll be able to catch it because you're not prone, stupid.
It's not logical at all. By logic standards, spear connects, Karlach catches it. Don't care if she went prone or not. She should still have the spear in her hand. Nope, the game just fucks up. Like, okay, whatever you say. All right,
Why
that's bullshit.
Okay.
So now the spear is on the floor. Karlach has no weapon. Luckily for me, I have other things I can throw, but I want that goddamn spear back, right? First of all, that's her whole build, and if I don't get that spear back, she's basically going to be kind of worthless for the rest of the playthrough. So now the spear's on the ground. So what am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. You can pick items up off the ground and throw them. Okay. So again, I use, what do you call it? Frenzied throw. Okay. You can do that to either throw something from your inventory or pick something up from the environment and throw it. It shouldn't change the properties of the frenzied throw. It shouldn't change the properties of the item. It should still work. Okay. Now at this point, I believe that the shield was down. Gortash's shield was down by luck. What had happened was I was using Shadowheart and I used her Sunbeam and I was trying to hit enemies, and apparently the Sunbeam passed through the enemies and blew the generator off the wall. So all the shields went down completely by luck. So by dumb luck, I'm actually going to win this boss fight because I was losing badly. Okay. But I very, very chance start coming back. I'm like, oh shit, I can't believe this. Right.
Okay.
So
I
said, the shield's down. Now's my chance. If I can stun lock Gortash, we're going to win this fight, even though we were on the ropes. So I have Karlach get up, walk across the room, pick the spear up as an environmental object off the ground, which should now technically make it an object in her inventory, but apparently who knows how they code this fucking game, right?
Oh my god.
She throws the spear. The spear hits Gortash. The spear hits her. The spear hits everyone in an area of effect and makes everyone go prone, and the spear disappears from the game world. Completely.
Now, that ability, when you use it, what happens to the object you throw? Because I kind of feel like if I played this game and I use that ability and the object that the person threw from the inventory or whatever ends up just being gone, I'd assume the spear would be gone if you use it on that. Like, there's some lines of thinking that he should just kind of realize or understand, because if you don't understand what happens to the object that you throw, you're not gonna understand. Like, it's unreasonable to assume that it would be different for the spear. You know, like if that ability allows you to throw the item and then pick it up or whatever, that's one thing. But if it just throws it and then it's gone, why wouldn't it work the same for the spear? Again, this is not really that deep to think about. I mean, these are things that you just kind of have to like understand, you know?
Gone. And I said, where is it? Not on the floor. It's not in her inventory. It didn't blow across the room. It's literally erased. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there's all these theories that people are trying to come up with and try to explain it away. But I don't think there's a theory that's going to be correct. I just think their coding is bad. I think that this entire idea of throwing objects was never refined enough. And because of that, it's always janky. People have outright said this. Just listen to this. If you're in stealth, so you haven't engaged in a combat yet, you're not in fighting, and you throw the spear, even if it connects, it doesn't go back to her. It lands on the floor. Why? The whole idea is that she throws this spear, and it's a returnable spear if it connects with the enemy. Well, everyone agrees that's a game bug, that it should return to her, but they've never fixed it. So everyone just works around it. No one uses throwable objects out of cover or out of stealth because they know that they're not going to return. It's fucked up. So if that's fucked up, okay, obviously there's going to be other stuff that's fucked up as well, right? So the whole mechanic shouldn't exist if it's not refined enough to not be a janky, wonky, not consistent thing. If it's a mess, don't put it in the fucking game. But they didn't care. They said, we're going to put it in. And now how many people are going to have issues with game mechanics like this? And it's stupid because the game mechanic is great. As it worked, it was amazing. She's one of the best characters in the whole game when she has this build. And now the one item that made this build work, right, disappears from the game. Now, I have a theory about this, okay? I want you to understand something. I actually don't blame this on D&D at all. Because in D&D, now correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys are going to know better than me. In Dungeons & Dragons, there's a Dungeon Master, correct? So a situation happens where something kind of breaks. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? If there's a problem, then the Dungeon Master would fix it, correct? Like the Dungeon Master is kind of like God behind the scenes, omnipotent, and can try to resolve issues and things that don't seem to make sense. Because let's be honest.
Oh my god, dude! Like this is so annoying to listen to. I don't remember a lot about D&D. I only did D&D in college like once or twice, and then I got bored because it was taking too long. And I was like, I don't want to do this. It was a Job moment where he sits there and is like, oh, I made a huge mistake. It was kind of that kind of stuff. It was fun to hang out with my friends. Don't get me wrong. That part I don't regret. But it was just like I don't know if I have the commitment for D&D. But I think this is kind of a dumb comparison. Just off of the basis, one is a real life thing based on books and like people talking, and the other is like a video game. Like people don't like glitch out. And like what does he mean by problems? And they'll remedy it. Like what does that mean? Oh, whatever.
D&D has been around for a zillion years, correct? And so I'm sure there's so many addendums and new things that have been added to D&D over the years. Maybe not all of them jive and fit together. Like puzzle pieces, they don't exactly fit right. So is it not the Dungeon Master's job to kind of resolve those issues? And if that's the case, then that makes sense, right? But I mean, again,
this dude is like forcing a point, and it's like, dude, just say it's a glitch and it sucks. Like this dude, he just wants to make some like point.
If I'm wrong, correct me, but there has to be like a ruling body on this stuff when you're playing D&D because it wouldn't always fit, right? There might be issues that need to be resolved. there is no dungeon master playing a video game. And that's the problem. So this obviously is a situation. There is absolutely
What?
no situation whatsoever
Dude,
where
this dude is insane. I don't know what happened. This dude's brain is cooked. It's cooked. It's never been so over for him. Like, now he's just coming up with conspiracies. Like, this game needs a dungeon master. Like, what are you talking about? What?
this spear should just be yeeted from the game, just zoop up into space or into another dimension, or maybe it got shoved up Gortash's ass and you can't get it out. I don't know where it is. I don't care. It shouldn't have happened. Even if the spear, again, didn't connect properly and missed or whatever, which it didn't. It did connect. It hit everybody.
Dude,
It should still.
this is just a glitch happened. I can't get the spear back. And this dude is like, well, I don't care. It's like, he's acting as if everyone said it's not a glitch. When people are like, yeah, it's a glitch, or it could be this, or it could be that, whatever. Like, this is so. It's like, what is this segment?
Land on the floor again. We literally just saw that a turn before when it bounced off of someone, came back and hit Karlach. She fell and the spear landed on the ground. Right? So why on the holy hell, the second time that the second thing happened again, did it have a different outcome? Bad coding. It's the only explanation. The whole throwable objects thing in this game.
Oh my god, I needed all that insane rambling. He already said it was bad coding before, and then he was like, wait a second, I have to go insane. I have to go insane mode. And then does that stupid D&D comparison for no fucking reason. To just say the same point again that's bad coding, when, dude, anyone with a brain could probably deduce, this is a projectile, but I'm throwing it. That's why, like, sometimes I play a game, and it may not, like, it's just situational, I guess. But it's like, man, you're throwing a spear. To some degree, that's a projectile. Like, it's not like Persona, for example, where you have that one enemy that reflects physical attacks, and you may think, you know, if you've never played Persona before, well, that may just be like if I do normal attack. But if I do a skill move where it takes HP and it does a slash or pierce or whatever, is that physical? And some people may say it's not, some people, or whatever. I mean, but they usually are considered physical. So yeah, you don't want to use any of those skills on an enemy that reflects physical. I think in 3 may be a little bit different because you have slash, pierce, and strike. But those may just be categories of physical, so, you know, it's that kind of thing. So you may be confused with that. That makes sense. But you're throwing a spear. And again, this dude has played this game for so long, he could have just kind of learned this or read about it, because I'm sure if it says a spear is a projectile somewhere in the description, like, this is stuff that you just have to, like, kind of engage with, and he doesn't want to engage with this game.
And it shouldn't even be a build. It shouldn't be an option unless they were going to refine it and fix it. This game's been out since September. I'm not playing this game release week. This game has been out more than half a year. They had ample time to fix this. But if you haven't heard, Larian already made their announcement. Okay?
And this is also brilliant IQ Phil yet again.
Their announcement is, we are not doing DLCs for Baldur's Gate. We are not making Baldur's Gate 4. We're moving on to other projects. We're done with this. We're wiping our hands of it.
Now, if you had a brain, which DSP doesn't have apparently, you'd realize they're just talking about DLC content and Baldur's Gate 4. They didn't say, "Oh, we're stopping support of Baldur's Gate 3." Like, it's very obvious that that's not the case, because they would have said, "Oh, we're no longer going to be supporting Baldur's Gate 3," but they didn't say that. They are only specifically talking about expanding the game and making a sequel. They didn't say they're gonna drop fixing the game or making patches for the game.
So they're done with this. They don't give a shit. You know, this is something that absolutely should be fixed, and I doubt they ever will, because I bet you're not going to see many or any real improvements moving forward. They made their big announcement, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll do the right thing and continue to go back and fix things like this. But this is awful. All right,
Awful.
130 hours played, a build specific to this weapon that works and has beaten big ass endgame bosses, and now I'm going to be cheated out of that
Good.
because the game doesn't work. This was not an error on my part. This is not, I didn't understand that Asterion was going to leave my party and take my items with
Well,
him.
he didn't understand that if the spear would be considered a projectile, and if it hits you and you're prone, you wouldn't be able to auto catch it. That he didn't understand. So he's kind of wrong
I'm
there.
crying over it, you know. This is a situation where the game's coding's fucked up. An item finger snapped off the planet, and I'm just supposed to swallow that?
Yeah,
No,
eat it.
absolutely not. I have the
Eat
right to
it.
voice my opinion and to tell you this game is a buggy, janky mess at the end. It's funny because other parts of the game haven't been like this, but I'll tell you, since I got to Act 3, it's just been like increasing amount of these kind of problems every time I play. And it's like, all right, I'll forgive this one. All right, I'll forgive this one. I literally had like 7
you
in a row.
haven't,
Yes.
liar. No. This dude has mentioned every glitch that happened. He didn't give any a pass. He gives other games a pass, but not this one. Because this game is loved by PC games. You know, that's the other thing. I think that's half the spite coming out. Since Baldur's Gate 3 is probably better played on the PC, and a lot of PC gamers like the game, he wants to hate on it because for some reason he just really hates PC gamers. It's so funny. He says PC gamers should complain more when games are not great. They complain that the games are not good. Then he shits on them for thinking that. Okay.
And at that point, I got to put my foot down and be like,
You gotta put his hoof down.
it's fucked up. All right. And now you might say, well, it's probably on the ground. No, I searched. Watch the video from yesterday. I did the area search. You hold down X and it does this circle on the ground. It's not there. I finished the fight.
Why didn't he? Okay. Maybe instead of throwing the item with the inventory move or whatever the fuck, you should have left it where it was, and then finished the fight, and then did the area search. Or, better yet, reload the game.
The way I beat Gortash, and then it's just gone. All right. Now, what's funny is some people are like, there's Reddit threads about this, and some people have complained about exactly the same thing. Even some people have complained.
So now people have complained. This dude went from, oh, everyone is giving this game a pass. Everyone said there's no bugs. There are bugs. And now he's saying that people are saying there's bugs in the game. What? Oh, this is another banger. This could be used. Like, if he has like a low stream, just you can like edit that in. Like, look at this. Look at the contributions.
About the exact thing in that fight. Okay? And some people said, just listen to this.
Listen to
this. I
this.
found it randomly in an enemy's inventory, but the enemy never picked it up. It's just there. What?
What?
Other people have said it was on the ground, but invisible. Other people have said it was randomly in another character's inventory in their party for no good reason. Huh? Okay? So what we got to do when we boot up today is we have to try to fuck around with the game. Maybe just by reloading, it'll be there. Maybe.
Maybe.
But if I continued to play, that means I lose the item forever? Right? What? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Right? And like I said, I did do the area search, and it's not on the floor. So some people are like, oh, it's under Gortash's body. It's literally not there. I've tried. So maybe it is in his inventory. Why would it be in his inventory? Like I said, did it literally get stuck up his ass when I threw it? And so it's like attached to him now? Okay. It doesn't really make much sense at all. All right? So
what does make
basically,
sense?
I really, 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 really hope that spear's in there. Because if not, my Karlach will not be essentially viable for the end game. I mean, I have another spear that returns when you throw it, but it's not that good. It's very weak. So that, and it doesn't do the force damage. It doesn't do the area of effect. So it's not going to be that good. I think I have a legendary spear that has light ability, like the what's it called? The light ability in this game. I'm having a brain fart. Whatever that light magic is. It has that in it, but I don't think it auto returns. And that's the problem. If it doesn't auto return, then it's worthless. You know? Now it's funny because Tub says, oh, there's another great hammer that will do the same thing. Dude, we're at the end. We're at the end of the game. Do you want me to do more questing to go try to find this random fucking hammer that's somewhere
Oh
hidden in the
my
game that I didn't get
god.
because the game glitched my fucking legendary spear out of existence? Like, no, we want to finish the game.
So then why are you complaining? This is this game's gonna be useless. Tubs. Well then you should get this other. No, I need to beat it by Friday for reasons. Again, he makes his own deadlines, and then he adheres to these arbitrary deadlines. Like, what's the rush?
Right?
Right?
So okay, some people this is good news. I'm being told no, Larian did not say they're going to wipe their hands of Baldur's Gate 3. They have committed to continuously improving the game for a little bit at least for now, for the foreseeable future. So that's good. And you know, I want to know that information. So that's good. Fix the fucking spear. In fact, how about this?
And now we go to Christian mode. Because he realized he was being a little baby. He now has to go Christian mode.
Larian Studios. Everyone who's working there at Larian Studios. There's a matter of utmost importance that you must resolve immediately. Okay, I want you to step away from your computers, put down your coffees, get out of your big boardroom meetings, your dev team meetings.
God.
I want you to all listen. Immediately, you must put down everything you're doing, and you must return to work, and you must code my spear back into my game specifically. It is of the utmost importance that you drop everything in your lives. If you're on the toilet taking a shit right now, pinch it off, get your pants up, don't even wipe, get right.
Dude, he loves poop. And you know, I was watching Alice the Bookkeeper video just before this, which made me want to do a video, by the way, so shouts out. We watched a part of a pre-stream where he said, like, oh, back then when I was a streamer, I would say such stupid jokes like fart jokes, sex jokes. I was like, dude, you make poop jokes now. You love poop. Get out of here.
Your workstations right now and get this fucking spear back into my inventory. This I demand. All right? Let's get to work. Enough is enough. This is unfair. All right? Listen, I paid 130 hours of your god.
This dude, like, these jokes just come off as a little kid coming down from a tantrum. Like, he threw a tantrum to mommy, and then mommy's like, you know, calmed him down, and then he's like, yeah, Mom, you know what? You're right. I was stupid. Yeah, you know what? You got it right. You got, like, whatever. This joke. You know what I mean?
Game. I want my fucking spear. I've had enough of this shit.
He wants it. Wants it now.
Obviously, I'm being silly. All right? But.
Oh, yeah, silly.
This is pretty silly and stupid. I mean, I want to tell you guys, here's the thing. I really feel like in the modern gaming universe, too many things get fanboyism behind it. Okay?
Oh my god.
Particularly one of the hugest things is Nintendo. It's like, oh, Nintendo shit doesn't stink.
This dude.
Gaming universe.
I fucking hate this guy. I find new reasons to hate him every day. And I just found one the other day. ALT posted a forum post that DSP made. And man, I've never been so happy that this dude never touched Guilty Gear. Like, oh my god, it's so dumb.
Too many things get fanboyism behind it. Okay? Particularly one of the hugest things is Nintendo. It's like, oh, Nintendo shit doesn't stink. Everything Nintendo does is great. And in reality, we all agree.
Dude, everyone criticizes Nintendo. Like, like, he's really going after the percentage of people on Twitter who are just like the King Goombas of Twitter. You know, that's like who he's talking to. And it's like, dude, come on, move on.
Thing. Kind of behind the scenes, outside of the realm of the Nintendo fanboys who own every one of these.
And this is dumb too. This hate for this now. Maybe I think there's another whatever. At some point, I also want to talk about this fucking Dragon's Dogma 2 bullshit too. At some point, but this guy, like everyone complained about how Dragon's Dogma 2 has a lot of microtransactions. I think there was some. You know, I was like reading some of the responses people had about that outcry, that reaction or criticism or whatever of Dragon's Dogma 2, and some said it's not that bad. There's still like fast travel. It's not like as ridiculous as it is. I just think the DLC list page is ridiculous. Whatever. But that aside, he like just take it at face value that there's a lot of microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's just agree with that. DSP was so fucking defensive, like, well, there's microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma 2. It's not that bad, man. You don't have to do them, man. You don't have to use them. It's fine. It's cool. All this stuff. Nintendo makes an amiibo, and he's like, this is the worst thing Nintendo ever did, and people who buy them are fucking stupid, and they rewarded bad business practice. Meanwhile, you could have just not buy these. These don't really give you anything super meaningful. And you may even argue some games give you better stuff with them sometimes, but it's never stuff that you need. In Zelda, like, I only use the amiibos to like grind for rupees. To be honest, you don't really need to, but I just wanted to because I needed rupees really badly. But whatever, there's all these other options. But you could buy shit and just have fun with it. You don't have to agree with amiibos or whatever, but at least to a degree, this is a physical collection. And, as I said before, you may even get a figure in a way of something that may never get an official figure. Like, think about it like this. If they did a Guilty Gear game on the Switch and they did amiibos, we may actually get a legit Biken figure that's affordable. Because the one I think that they're doing now is gonna be like $200. Look, I ain't dumping that much. I love Biken, not that much. I like Jacko. The Jacko figure is like $300. I'm not doing that. And it's like the Jacko pose, and it's like, that pose is cool, but there's other parts of Jacko I appreciate than just the pose, like her halo, her mask, cool. I don't need the Jacko pose. You know what I mean?
Right?
Right.
We all agree that Nintendo makes a lot of missteps and mistakes, but somehow they always just get forgiven and continue to be successful regardless of all the mistakes that they.
I love that. And listen to this dude. This dude wants them to fail. It's like a wet dream for him. It's like, are they gonna fail? They should go bankrupt. But this dude does not cheer for failure. Like, honestly, listen to his like fucking Microsoft shit. Oh my god, they're gonna fail. I hope they don't fail. Oh my god. But fucking Nintendo, oh man, they should fail and all this stuff. But my guy, you made bad decisions and you still make bad decisions. And then when people say you should fail, we're fucked up and we're mentally ill. But he wants that on Nintendo. And in reality, it would be worse for them because they have employees that they're paying who have jobs. If DSP like loses his channel forever, I mean, maybe Cat would have to leave and move into like an apartment or something and get another job. But DSP wouldn't lose a team of people or a whole building of people who have families. Whatever.
Right?
And this dude also is the most like fucking, I always hated that when this dude pretends to give a fuck about these companies. It was so maddening during the crunch culture discussion that was going on a lot, that this dude pretended to give a fuck. Oh, these developers, they should get like treated better and all this stuff, but this dude doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a shit. And yet he's like, Nintendo should fail and they should go bankrupt. They should learn from failing. But if people didn't buy amiibos or all this other shit, they probably just wouldn't exist or whatever. I mean, a lot of stuff that he wants to happen to Nintendo would not give him the outcome that he thinks is gonna happen. Because sure, on paper, it should, like, if no one bought the Switch OLED, that hopefully this means that they're gonna understand that we want a better portable whatever, blah blah blah. But that's not always the case. They get to see that and it's like, so they just don't like the Switch. Okay, so we're just gonna make a console that's not a hybrid. And it's gonna be whatever. Then that may not be powered, and then that doesn't sell. And it's like, okay, well then, I guess it's because we had too many hardcore games. Let's go back to casual games because that's what sold the Wii. Let's go back to the Wii mode. Whatever. I mean, you're never gonna really win in the corporate race of what fails and what doesn't. It's why, like, it's not always worth to think like that, or to assume that's gonna, or voting with your wallets is gonna pay off. It may pay off in some cases, but it may not pay off in others. It's all like, not fully predictable because, again, investors have a louder voice than the consumer sometimes.
Fanboyism. Because the fanboys run out there and just blindly defend every action that they do, buy every piece of things that they sell, so it's like they're above reproach, right? In this case, with all the things I heard about Baldur's Gate 3, that I have to play a game of a generation and yada, 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 right?
No one said this was a game of a generation. I still don't know who told them that or where he heard it from. I just heard, oh, it's a good game. Oh, what a great game. Not oh, it's a game of a generation. Like that's a little much.
I do feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is an anomaly. I have never in my life played a video game that provided this much content of this quality level for the price that they provided it for. It's almost like weird. And now I understand why those game devs last year were like, don't expect all of us to follow suit. It's unfair for us to do the same that they've done. I mean, the incredible amount of content.
Oh my god! You know what? This is a secret clown mode for him. He was like, there were producers like, so get this. Developers are saying, don't expect this. You want to know why they said that? They're scared. They're scared because Larian, they did something they couldn't do. Oh, we have to work. Darn. That shit, all that smug talk, and now he's like, oh, yeah, I understand. It's almost like DSP doesn't understand what goes into game development, or what goes into making anything. Wow, what a surprise.
This game is bang for your buck if I've ever seen it. Like, this game's playthrough is equivalent to, like, my Skyrim playthrough last year, including all the DLCs. And this doesn't have any DLCs. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get it. But at the same time, what baffles me is that it is apparent this game is not fully refined, has a lot of issues, particularly in Act 3, and no one talks about that. Everyone's like, best game ever, game of the year.
Dude, he literally was talking about Reddit threads that talked about it. He said before he played it, people said it, and now no one talks about it. No one talked about it? Which is it? This dude forgot the sauce.
I really would love statistics on this. How many people who bought this fucking game got to Act 3 to even say something like that? I would guarantee you half the fucking games journalists who kiss this game's butt never fucking played it that far. You know? They played the first act and said, oh, okay, I get it. And then they just praised the shit out of it to follow the fucking suit. I'm sorry, but I have a hard time believing that most people who got Baldur's Gate 3 played it for 130 fucking hours, got through the game, didn't feel this jankiness at the end, and just if they did, they forgave it. I don't get it. You know, I'm here to try to bring...
Maybe because he enjoyed the journey all the way through. Like you know, it really is showing that DSP doesn't understand why people like video games, or just the concept of liking something. Like, there could be a game, you could play a game, and there could be a lot of things that are bad about it, and you may still recommend it, say it's your game of the year, because you may forgive it because you just like it that much. Like, I like Guilty Gear Strive, and it has a lot of concessions that I kind of miss from Exard, like the insta kills, a lot of the movesets from a lot of characters that are now gone, which I miss. I miss that bike and like throw that looks like a slam dunk. I miss it so much. Same with Suzerain, but you kind of get it now with the Wild Assault, but you know, it's still Suzerain, still goated. That's gone. You know, whatever. But I do like Strive for what it is. It's still a solid, fun game. It has good music. It has a lot of stuff that I still enjoy about it, which is more than what I can say about a lot of modern fighters that I played and left. You know, I like Grand Blue versus Rising for a bit, but even that did not keep me as long as Strive has a hold of me. Same with Rev 2. But again, these are things that, like, you know, if you like something, you're gonna say something. You know what I mean?
My honest perspective, I really like the game, but this game is not flawless. This game is not the best RPG ever. It's got problems. Maybe if they continue to patch, fix, and refine it, it'll be the best game ever made in like a year. But it's got all these problems now. And I can't forgive those or just overlook them to follow the bandwagon of what everyone says around me that it's amazingly flawless. It's not. It's got tons of
Who
problems.
said it was
Um,
flawless?
really, it's
Whatever.
just frustrating to
Okay.
me because I don't understand why everyone kisses the game's butt and no one has called out these major kind of problems. Maybe I'm just the unlucky schmuck who gets every problem. I don't know. But man, I'm not making this shit up. As we go along, we encounter the next annoying thing, the next annoying thing. And again, I'll be honest with you. No, this would not have been my game of the year last year. It might maybe ranked top 3.
This dude does a countdown. Whatever.
But it wouldn't
Okay.
have been my game of the year. When you get to a point where you're just exhausted and you want a game to end and you're not getting enjoyment much out of it anymore, that's a bad sign. Baldur's Gate 3 has overstayed its welcome. It has so much content in it that you just feel this heavy level of exhaustion by the end. And when the game starts having these problems, now your enjoyment is sucked out of your experience. I had zero enjoyment in that Gortash boss fight yesterday. Zero. Even with all my stuff going on, I'm like, this sucks. Too complex, too many moving parts, too much
Yeah,
jankiness.
he
Pisses me.
hates. It's so funny when a game starts getting complicated or difficult, he hates it. Every game. You could find the same criticism in any game. It's too complicated, man.
Off, just want to fucking get through it, but it's like pulling teeth, right? It's like I just want this to end, but I'm gonna be stuck in this room for an hour of torture. Well, I don't want to be tortured for an hour. I'm supposed to be enjoying a video game. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel at this point. Now, hopefully, we're in the end now, and hopefully the end fight isn't like that. I'm sure it's going to be the most complex fight in the game, especially because it seems like all the characters will be returning who we've recruited over the course of the game to help us. But man, it's going to suck if the end fight is again another thing. There's a million fucking new factors and moving parts and variables you don't understand. And this doesn't work here, and this ain't working here, and a glitch here, and a bug here, and this fucking person gets shot into the fucking Nintendo world, and this person is
Nintendo
fucking
World.
erased from, fuck this. I just want to play it and beat it. I don't want to spend the next week trying to figure out what the fuck they were trying to do for some weird ending. You know what I mean? So I guess we're gonna see what happens. And go from there. Let's see.
You know?
If anything though, it's funny because someone said, how fitting to the plot
Fitting.
is it that it's actually Karlach who basically gives her all in this fight against Gortash, the guy who betrayed her and originally made her a slave in the Hells, right? He's the one who sold her off to the Hells as a slave and got that infernal engine to be put into her and everything. That she just gives her absolute 100% last bit of everything to beat him, but now basically she's completely burned out and worthless because she lost her build. She can't even use it anymore, right? So it's funny because if you're a role player, it
Oh
actually kind of
man,
fits the story, doesn't it? Like
it's kind of funny to me that as this story was going on, I kind of was like wondering, did this dude do this on purpose? And it kind of sounds like he did in a way, but I also think he didn't because he doesn't want to get rid of like OP gear, obviously.
all out in that fight, and she beat Gortash, but now she's spent. She's done. She's out. She's out of energy because she gave it all to beat this asshole. So that's kind of funny. But at the same time, that's fucked up because I have this character built for the end game, and now I can't use her if the spear's gone. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it sucks. I would have liked to just boot up the game today and be like, "Hey, everyone, we're gonna go right to the final area and let's engage with the final end game content." And I can't do that because now we have to try to fuck around and see where the spear went. If it even exists, does it exist in the game world? Is it fused to a body? Is it in the walls? Is it up my ass? I don't know. Won't know
I
till
don't
we
know.
fuck around, and I don't like fucking around. I got shit to do.
Yeah, like play video
I got a brain to
games.
stop. I got a big ass fucking Krang brain to stop. That's probably at this point, who knows what's going on with this thing. And I don't got time to fuck around over a magic toothpick, but apparently I got to,
A magic
So let's see what happens.
toothpick.
But my rant ends at this, all right?
Fix your game.
This game absolutely
Fix your
has
game,
flaws.
Larrigan.
It is not flawless. If you like it as your game of the year pick of last year, more power to you. I can totally understand your position why. I would never give game of the year to a game that causes me this level of anxiety and stress because it doesn't fucking work right. I just wouldn't.
Oh man.
Still ranked high. Like I would probably, number score, it's got to be an 8 or a 9. You know what I mean? But I would never be giving this game my
An
game of the
8 or a 9. Man, I just feel like if this was if he wasn't playing it and people whatever
Your reward when I'm pissed off at it
he'd be
like
mad
this.
about
I
reviewers if they
shouldn't
gave
be
it this
angry
kind of score
playing the
if
game
he
because
knew
it's
this
fucked
bug
up.
existed.
So there you go.
There you go. And there you go.
Okay, folks, that's what I had to talk about today. I got it off my chest. I've ranted, and now we can move.
All right, I think there's more stuff. I don't know if I should use the YouTube stuff or the Boon stuff. Contrasting D&D and keep with your contention. Oh man.
On and see what happens today when I play. I'll be honest with you. I think the spear's gone. I don't think we're getting it back. So the only thing I can say is there another build we can do for Karlach, or is she shot? Like, if that's the case, I don't even know who to use in her place. She was essential to my endgame build, so I don't even know what to do about that. Like someone said, there's a hammer. I don't know what the fuck the hammer is. There's a hammer that does the same thing. I don't know. I have a throwable spear that returns, but it sucks. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's the early game spear, you know? So unless anyone else has an idea of where to go to get another throwable item that will return to her, I think she's pretty shot. Like, I don't know. Like, we could give her a two-handed weapon, but the best thing I can do to trolls is completely fucking ignore them, because then it shows them how insignificant they really are on this planet. And they're not worth my time. So
what? Whoa. Why is it doing that?
That's exactly what they want. They want, or someone who's a troll, like literally right there. And you look at the submissions thread.
Oh boy.
In that regard. So no worries there. Let's start with the YouTube side of things. So thank you to those who contributed on the YouTube side of stuff. We start off with BB Phil, who did a super chat and says, "Is everything allowed on your React channel? I was surprised to find out you react to people saying things about you." If you look at the submissions thread, because I have a thread for submissions tier and ultra tier, those are the people who submit the clips for the React show DSP versus the internet. The rules are right there. And I'll just in off the top of my head, says right there, you know, there's a difference between me reacting to like a "this is how you don't play," making fun of my gameplay, or someone who's a troll, like literally sitting here insulting me and my family members and stuff. I'm not going to give a troll any kind of airtime, because that's exactly what they want. They want attention.
Oh, okay.
The best thing I can do to trolls is completely fucking ignore them, because then it shows them how insignificant they really are on this planet, and they're not worth my time. So to give them time on a show just because someone paid to do a submission, I'm not going to do that. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Rare Tricks did a super chat. He says, "Arguments about rules are the true heart of Dungeons and Dragons." Yeah. Now, and again, the thing is, from what I'm to understand, let's say there was an argument that erupted in a game of Dungeons and Dragons over something like this. Where did the spear go? Or the dungeon master would figure out that resolution and solve the problem. So there's an ultimate.
What if the dungeon master was like, "Look, you threw your spear and it's gone. Eat it." Like, I mean, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, baby one is Binky. Okay, the Binky was actually with you the whole time." I mean, it's not really comparable. One's a glitch, the other one is like, if it's part of the deal, like, whatever, okay.
Solution. And even though you might not agree with the solution, the whole point is the dungeon master makes the rules. There is no arbitrary body or overseer
I think there's
in
a hole
this
in his
game
shirt, by the way.
to fix an issue like this.
Maybe
we
not.
all know the spear should not have just disappeared, right? It should be somewhere. But the fact that it did disappear, well, what's the resolution to this? Well, there is none. It's a video game. Sorry. Go on your podcast and rant and demand that Larry and studio staff go to their desks and code the fix right now.
Oh my god,
dude!
It ain't
gonna do anything. No one cares.
Dude, it's
right?
a fucking
So
video
I'm the one
game.
who gets asked out after 133 hours invested in my playthrough because the coding's bad.
Dude, this is insane.
Right now. I mean, I did.
This is like this was a little like window of insanity.
Well, what's the resolution to this? Well, there is none.
What's the resolution to this? Dude, it's a glitch. The resolution is you can reload and not do the thing that caused it. Why? Like, why is he like, again, this is an awful comparison. He's comparing a thing that's with actual people and a video game.
It's a video game. Sorry. Go on your podcast and rant and demand that Larry and studio staff go to their desks and code the fix right now. I mean, I did that. It ain't gonna do anything. No one cares, right? So I'm the one who gets asked out after 133 hours invested in my playthrough because the coding's bad. That's bullshit, right? But I think that's kind of the problem is in a D&D game, you're investing all this time and effort into it, but you will get resolutions to problems like this. You can't do it in a video game. And that may be the issue. Maybe
But
Larry
the thing that happened with the spear is a gameplay glitch. There's no glitches in D&D. You're like, I was never a dungeon master, and I don't want to be one because as I said before, I don't have the commitment for it, man. But you're just doing like a fucking like you're not gonna just say like, oh yeah, oh man, your spear, oh shit, man, like you threw it. I don't know what happened. Like that doesn't make any sense. And this dude is like acting as if this is like a thing that can happen. I don't understand what he's talking about with this sometimes. This is an insane fucking segment.
bit off more than they could chew. And maybe that's why they don't want to do another D&D game. Right? Maybe that's literally why they don't want to do another one, because they realize, man, this was such an
Dude, I think they wanted to leave because the company that owns the property, they didn't like the writing that was on the wall. And they're like, we're not gonna deal with this anymore. We're gonna do our own thing. I think that's what happened.
To get this game out, and now there's all these problems with it, and we just don't want to fucking deal with it anymore. Let's move on to our own next project. I don't know, right? I don't know.
I think
BB filled in another super chat.
Right? And Wizards did
Have you seen a Smash Brothers Melee documentary? It showcases all old school tournaments with people sleeping on the floor for days in 2003. No, I never saw that, but I can attest to that back in the day, before there was professional sponsorship or anything fighting game related, it was all grassroots and it was very sloppy.
Grassroots are very
before the
sloppy.
era of Street Fighter 4, when all of a sudden you had companies like Mad Cats and other companies.
I like it says it's sloppy, it's grassroots. I mean, like, come on, man.
He's coming out and sponsoring players, and then there was esports teams involved and things like that. It was just individuals bumming their way through, to try to get.
I love that. Like he keeps telling us how much he loves the old days. Oh, the grassroots, man. But he's describing it very negatively. Oh, it's sloppy. These people bum their way and all this stuff. Like, so in a way, he kind of likes where it is now then, right? Because no one's bumming their way to EVO anymore.
Good and become a top player. And honestly, in a lot of cases, it was just for the glory and the love of the game. It wasn't like there was a big reward at the end of the tunnel.
And now we go back to the negativity, to the modern FGC, where no one plays fighting games because they love them. They do it because they want the money and the fame. It's clearly they wouldn't like the game that they're playing, right? Ugh.
The people who were winning all the tournaments in a country weren't rich and making money off of it. They had to find other ways to finance what they were doing because there was no profits in it. The tournaments were all grassroots, run by just local community members. The prizes were based off a very small prize pool. $5 to enter a tournament. How big's that pot gonna be?
It's what, I'm getting more like radicalized against these segments from him, because this dude literally complains about getting rewards. I need rewards. Why would I do this? There's no reward in doing this. All this stuff about getting any form of reward, be it monetary or through game or through the gameplay, whatever the fuck, all the time. And this dude is mocking people for getting money for playing a fucking tournament all the time. And this guy did cash pools and all this other shit too. Like, this dude it's so like he's mocking other people for doing something and getting paid for it, while this dude complains when he doesn't get the rewards he wanted to reap.
Right? So, yeah, a lot of the times you'd have people who are like sleeping around the tournament venue, trying to bum into people's hotel rooms. That happened all the time. If you had a hotel room, yo, can I stay in your room? What? Can I stay in your room tonight? No. Are you gonna pay me to stay in the room? Well, no, I don't have any money. What the fuck are you doing at the tournament? Well, I'm playing. You came to a tournament with no money. You have nowhere to stay. You're literally begging people to stay in their rooms tonight. Yes. That was common.
Wow,
I'm playing.
That facepalm.
You came to a tournament with no money. You have nowhere to stay. You're literally begging people to stay in their rooms tonight. Yes. That was common. I'm not even kidding. That was a common occurrence back then. Um, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I never saw the documentaries or whatever, but it sure sounds like it's pretty accurate. If that is what it was portraying, that kind of thing was 100% commonplace. It was very common.
Well, I mean, now people like kind of pitch in and they share a hotel room and they all split the money to get the hotel room now. At least from what I hear.
That you go to a tournament and there was a hotel that was, basically booked for the tournament because all the tournament players were there. And you'd go, oh, want to come into our room and play some casual play? Sure. You open the door, there's like 27, 28 people in the room. A tiny little hotel room. We're not talking like a big grand luxury suite. A tiny little fucking hotel room. It smells like ass. It's disgusting. What the fuck are we doing? What is this?
What are we doing? I just love he's mocking this. This dude was like, I love the grassroots period, man. Oh, it's so cool. And then he's like, look what they got a room. It's like, dude, they start from nothing. Like they can't afford a fucking venue at that time. What do you want them to do?
That's what it was like back then.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Anyway.
So
hey, one day I could totally do like a whole stream or, I could certainly contribute to a documentary. I was there.
Contribute to a documentary. He could do a stream or contribute to a documentary.
Knowledge of the tournament scene back then and how it was. But again, because I'm the meme of the internet that everyone hates, no one ever comes upon me for any kind of information whatsoever.
Fuck off. This dude, this guy could have gotten an in with that guy, Scrub Quotes guy? Not Scrub Quotes, Guile Win Quotes. Because I think that was the guy that mentioned he had a Super Turbo cabinet. He was like, oh, you could come and play Super Turbo, Phil. And he was like, stop making fun of me. That guy. He could have just played along with him, and then like he could have gotten in, man.
Right? Because everything I say is obviously fake anyway, right? Like I was never part of that scene. I never was good at games.
Your scene sucked. Okay, I'm going to this part because I did bookmark this tweet that ALT made because I was considering doing a video about it, but here it is. I got the full thing. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna do the DSP voice, so let me drink my get a sip of drink here. Okay. It's not that Guilty Gear is dead. It's that it's non-existent. Maybe because the majority of the US community of Guilty Gear players are freaks, goths, emos, transsexuals, and outright losers. The few normal Guilty Gear players that I know agree with me. And you know what? They agree with me. Maybe if all of you could start acting like normal fucking humans, instead of smelly freak shows, other players who play other games like Street Fighter would want to bridge over. But right now, nobody wants to start playing the game just for the fact that they're afraid they'll be branded as losers and grouped in with the freaks. This is not shit talking. This is truth. Get your fucking acts together. Get your fucking acts together and start acting normal. Or face the fact that your community will never grow any larger than it is right now. Which is pretty lame. Oh my god, that paragraph. Literally, this is really illustrates DSP's allyness to everyone. The fact that like this dude is literally mocking Guilty Gear players for being freaks, goths, emos, transsexuals, and losers. Meanwhile, this dude said he was on a cocktail of medications. He was fucked up. He was depressed and all this other shit. And he wants everyone to be happy and all this other stuff. But he's considering these people not normal. And like, come on. It's such a load of bullshit. Like, whatever. We're not gonna get into the problematic nonsense, but the thing is, it's just like, this dude brags every day how he's so, like, uh uh pro everyone. Everyone should be happy and all this stuff. This paragraph alone was like, this fucker should never touch Guilty Gear at this point. Because the fact that he thinks that people didn't want to try it because they'd be branded as losers is really pathetic. Because, dude, play a fucking video game. Who fucking cares? Like, who cares who plays Guilty Gear, how many people like Guilty Gear, or whatever the fuck? Like, let them enjoy what they want to enjoy. And this dude is like, well, and he puts Street Fighter in such a high fucking pedestal. But how does he know Street Fighter doesn't have the same emos and goths and transsexuals? I mean, Street Fighter even has an actual transgendered character that's not as debatable or argued as much as Bridget is. And I'm not talking Bridget discourse, okay? Enough. I see it every day on Twitter, and I don't need it again. I stand with Daisuke on it, okay? So whatever Daisuke says, I go with that, okay? So there you go. That's my stance. That's where I'm ending it. But fucking Street Fighter has all this stuff, and he's still with that game. So what if the transsexuals play Street Fighter to play Poison? Bum bum bum. But this dude, this whole thing, it's just ridiculous. It's just so annoying how he puts down an entire community. Let's all ignore the whole like a hot topic of Bridget for a moment. Bridget the hot topic, and just listen to like the nonsense of this. Let's see. Other players who play other games like Street Fighter would want to branch over, so they want to be like narrow-minded because they're afraid of people who they probably would not want to talk to may want to talk to them. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so they don't want to try other games, which is really funny because DSP didn't want to try Guilty Gear for so long, mostly because it was complicated. That's what he told us. Here, he doesn't want to touch it because of the freak shows. Like, that's what he says here! That no one would want to play Guilty Gear because of freak shows. But then you ask him today, oh, Phil, why do you want to play Guilty Gear? Oh, because it's so complicated. The game is not really that complicated unless you really want to get into the fucking meta of the game, which you don't have to do. I'm not great with Revelator, and I still love that game. Come on, get out of here. James, please get off. Marlon plays nuts. It's pretty disgusting since we all know you're a dude. Again, being a pro ally, everyone should be happy, obviously, right? It's a shame. This is the last tournament, but what can you do? All I can say is, if you New Jersey heads find somewhere else to hold an event, I will be more than happy to donate my PS2s, games, joysticks, monitor, or whatever else I could help you with. I think we had something going. Too bad it was forced to die so quickly. Walter will talk about getting something going in Connecticut until the cows come home, but nothing is going to happen. There are no worthwhile arcades here that will work with us. There are very few land centers, transportation here sucks, and there is no local scene. If we were to hold an event here, you would see the same 6 people that drove to New Jersey come to the event. Regardless that is being held in our own state. The only exception would be MVC2, because I could probably get some fools to come out for that. But let's be honest, nobody plays MVC2 in the Land Center events. So yeah, the state of the tri-state area sucks. I'm actually talking with somebody in New York City to start holding events at a land center around the 4th Street. So we'll see how that goes. For now, I guess all we're going to have is TGA's events once every 2 months, man. So yeah, like, this is the dude, right? He's like, oh man, I love the FGC, this and that. But this dude actually put down all their communities, and it's so fucking negative. And this dude's like, oh, people think of me as the butt of the joke. They want to hate on me. What did the Guilty Gear players do to him, other than just exist? Okay.
I don't know. Hey, I make it all up. Of course, right?
Of course.
Okay, I received a $6 tip from Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. Well, thank you for that, Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. Let's get you on the leaderboard here. First tip of the day.
All right. Oh man. Let's
What? They said, here's some food talk. Did you hear McDonald's will be selling Krispy Kreme donuts?
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Krispy Kreme sucks, by the way. I kind of like Dunkin' Donuts a little bit more, but whatever. Oh my god, listen to this.
And then YouTube enabled the auto running of ads, so it does it by itself. Okay, so that's what I've had on for months.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna do the ad thing. I'll be honest, I was kind of like whatever about it, but nah, man. Impact of dialogue. Oh, I think this is the 1 Minute Man tip.
Oh, okay, so hold on. It's 1 Minute Man. He tipped $10. He has an update on the Asterian situation, I believe. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, he didn't tip on Monday or whatever the fuck because he was doing the research.
It is. Let's get him on the
He was doing work. He couldn't take time to tip him then. He had to do some research on Asterian.
Okay, so he says, I rewatched your segment from a few days back, the I Got Robbed segment where Asterian stole my stuff. He says, I wanted to find out why you didn't get an option for a happy ending and avoiding frustration. It turns out you locked yourself out of that conversation with Asterian like you did with Saravok. In part 42 of the playthrough, okay. 25 minutes, 46 seconds in, I chose option 1. All right, what do you need? All right. Expresses agreement in this context. When you went back on your word and you didn't help him, you pissed him off. If you had chosen option 2, you can't finish the ritual, you'll kill all these people, you would have been given the opportunity to persuade Asterian. That would still be in your party. Nobody dies except Cazador, and all prisoners go free to live in the Underdark. Everyone in your party is proud of Asterian, a really happy and satisfying outcome. Wow.
So
just think about that.
Think about that.
Because of an arbitrary conversation choice that I made in part...
Arbitrary! This dude... Like, everyone was telling him throughout the whole time he was playing this fucking game. Oh, you know what? Like, the decisions matter, blah, 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 blah. He makes a dialogue choice, and then it's like, oh, it's not, it comes to bite him in the ass. Oh, this is another banger. Kinda.
42 of a 133-part playthrough. Some, 100 hours later, that choice is somehow remembered by the game engine, and I'm screwed.
Somehow remembered by the game. Dude, it's just data. They could just... It's so easy for the game to... He acts as if the game is a person. That's what it is. He's talking about Baldur's Gate 3 like it's a living, sentient being that is doing all these judgment calls off of code like it's a sentient robot. But this dude, like, you picked a decision, a dialogue option. Of course it's gonna remember it. That's why people like the game. That's why people applauded this game, because it actually remembers your dialogue.
Out of having a happy ending. Who would have even thought, back then that you're not understanding what you're saying or that it has any repercussions or what it means, right? Right? So...
Oh my god, but... From what 1 Minute Man said, you agreed to help him, and then you said, no, don't do it.
Yeah, that's kind of... I mean, I'll be honest, I think that's kind of silly that you're locking yourself out of content later.
Oh my god.
For something you did early in the game. Okay? Anyway, I received another $10 tip, of course, from 1 Minute Man. And he continues on with this. He says... In conclusion, the dialogue would allow for Asterian to actually have a very positive and satisfying character arc, which would make him a better and mature person. Your choice of dialogue brings out the worst in him, So you end up losing a useful companion, and worse, because he has your good stuff, which rightfully belongs to him. I disagree.
Rifle belongs to him. Wow. He read that. I was like, no, it does. He deserves to be naked. Stupid.
He's been fighting alongside you, putting his life on the line. You expect him to leave butt naked? No, I think, like I said,
He. By the way, in that little tantrum he threw about Astarion, he did say he should be buck naked. He did say that.
Be an option to hash
From
it
what I
out.
remember.
Either he keeps it all, you keep it all, or there's a compromise option, or you fight for it. As I explained last week when we went over that. If I were him, I would have left you nothing. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned. Be careful how you talk to people. Choose your words carefully. You may.
Man, everyone's like to listen to this from 1 minute and assumed that he was like giving Phil a word of warning or whatever, but no, I don't think it's anything like that. Because DSP has shown he doesn't give a fuck what he says. He doesn't believe in anything he says. He says one thing, the next day it's something else. Like it's just meaningless to whatever. And 1 minute man just loves Phil. Like he's not gonna stop giving him money. He's gonna keep giving him money until he dies. He needs to die in order for him to stop giving him money.
Lose someone important to you in life. That's how it works. Fair enough. Maybe it's a life lesson, or maybe it's just a really annoying arbitrary line early in the game that you have no idea the repercussions of because of the way that they coded the game. But, well, thank you very much, 1 minute man.
I mean, a lot of DSP fans also love getting shat on by this guy. It's a fetish. I think these people show up to DSP streams to just get that treatment. Because it's just so much fun for them. You know, it explains why a lot of his fans are always degenerates. Every time they get you like find out about a DSP fan, they're always a degenerate. Always. Almost always.
I appreciate that this morning. Okay.
Especially the modern day DSP fans. Which is, again, what I said for years. At the very start, he had people who were actually legit people. And then, over time, he started banning anyone who had critical thought. So all the critical people who had a brain, they all got banned eventually. And all was left were just little losers who can't think for themselves. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay.
It's not early. 42 hours into a 140-hour game is not early. It's not even a third into the game when you're making that choice, right? Darky and Terry says, just want to say your second Dark Souls 3 run's one of the most underrated playthroughs of that you've ever done. I love our parts. To show your redemption run of Bloodborne isn't in your style of parts. Yeah.
Dude, these...
And shut down for like 2 is amazing. Because now I was champion Gunder, and then when I fought
these timestamps are
the
garbage.
second time, I beat him like
the
the
second
second
fast
try.
food. We're talking about Gunder
because I kind
now.
of understood the game much better, right?
Okay, we're just gonna skip
Someone
ahead.
had said, well, actually, it was 2 days ago. It was when we did Suggestion Box. Someone had said the following. When you play games, all right, the majority of people seem to want to see you play games. The problem is no one agrees on the game. So when you play an RPG, that audience shows up. When you play a fighting game, they show up, but then they're split. For the people who want to see you do non-gaming, like this podcast or something on my React channels or a special event, they're unified in just wanting to hang out. They just want to spend time with me and have some personal conversation or whatever. So because they're unified, those experiences feel different, right? It feels like more people are engaged in it. How is it that whenever I do a random gaming stream, it's very hard to retain an audience or get people excited, but if I do a random late night chill stream, tons of people show up and engage in support, right?
Right.
So I think that's what it is. That's a good point. There are unifying times. For example, if I play a new GTA game, if I play...
Oh my god, I don't want to hear this. Like, okay, we're just talking about like, oh, people show up. Okay, good for you, I guess. Whatever. Like, wow, they show up because they don't like to hear me talk. I mean, they're your fans, dude.
Shoryuken, what's going on? He said, what's your favorite job class in Like a Dragon? You know, what's funny about Like a Dragon is I feel like
he didn't unlock the jobs. Tevin was like losing his mind over his fucking Like a Dragon stream the other night, which makes sense because his Like a Dragon stream is just dreadful. It's just menus, the menu sound effects, and then it's just like nothing. He mocks the Night Queen class, and that's like the best class. Like the pole dances groupies, it also charms the opponents. It is such a good move that these two will never use because he's married, stupid.
In the first one, there were job classes that maybe had like one utility and weren't that good. But in this one, almost every job class has the same style. Like every job class has a move that is a great area of effect. Every job class has a move that absorbs the element of your weapon. Every job class has a move that breaks guard, excuse me. So because of that, they almost all feel kind of universal. Although admittedly, some are better for like flame attacks, water slash cat.
Does he use the inherited system, by the way? I want to say he doesn't. Because, I mean, that's a very good mechanic to use.
Caught. I can't speak English today. Causing a cold to be caught. I guess that was kind of a tongue twister. Causing a cold to be caught.
Okay.
Is all the ones, I would say Desperado's really cool. Because not only do you have cool gun attacks, but also that the lasso mental attacks. Like that. Would I ever do a playthrough of Gollum? No.
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 Yeah.
It's like, I have these. There you go. Arby's, we have the meats.
Okay.
50 tip.
We're just gonna move past that.
From Anso Kamaru, you mentioned the open world and Rebirth started to feel boring and samey. While I disagree on the boring statement, I was definitely feeling burnout after 100% in the second area. You'll be glad to know there is a massive chunk of streamlined story for a few hours, then a small bit of open world, then another massive chunk of story for a while. It breaks up the samey open world stuff. It's definitely going to be in my top 3 game of the year. I also email you some info on Stellar Blade. I'm not going to tell you to play it or hitting your discussion to skip it, but I want to give you some info on the company and its CEO. All right, fair enough.
Oh my god, dude. This dude got cucked to do that? These people are fucked up. Dude, he doesn't like the game. Just move on. And he's like, well, I sent you some information about the CEO. Like, what did he send him? Was there was he exposed? Was like, oh, I figured it out, guys. He's actually a problematic individual. I don't know. Like,
I already told you.
And
honestly, this is not a slight against the game, but
it's a slight against his audience. Actually, honestly, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not against the game. It's against his audience because his adult audience, supposedly adult people, right? Correct? Would all lose their shit and start beating it to Stellar Blade Lady. He would turn on the stream and they'd be like, oh god, I need to jack it off right now. I need to jack off right now. She's on the stream right now.
I already know what a shit show the streams would be if I played it. Literally 90% of the people in the stream chat would just be sitting here making lewd sexual comments about the protagonist.
And they can't do that with anyone else? Literally, like, go back to his Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough, and, like, he banned Snowcarl, by the way, at that time, because he said, Tifa is my waifu, or whatever the fuck. He said something about Tifa being hot, or whatever, and that was enough to get banned. And Tifa's in Rebirth, and she's cool, and you could date her, too.
And it's like, do I really want to run a stream that becomes that? No. You know, been there, done that, 10, 15.
He's like committed to this, and it's so stupid. Same with the Bayonetta shit. It's so dumb. It's such a dumb point.
Years ago, when I used to do that kind of dumb shit in my commentary, I have completely moved away from that style of content.
Then why not just play Stellar Blade for the game?
I don't want my content to be like that. So I don't want to play a game where it's a 10, 15-hour game of action, and every time I look at the chat, I can't engage with anyone because everyone's just, like, fucking drooling. You know?
How does he know that? He keeps telling us that his chat is adult and they're mature and they don't like sexism and sexual comments. And yet, if you play Stellar Blade, they're all gonna be drooling at the mouth? He's acting as if someone's saying, hey Phil, can you ship us some crack? Can you do some cocaine on stream for us? Do some hardcore drugs, Phil.
So I'm probably not gonna play it. No, Bubonic Plague, that guy, he says, maybe you could have picked up the NPC that glitched and Foundry. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Okay, we're still talking about the fucking bullshit. Discussion reacting to yearly best... Okay.
List you make at the end of the year, it will be interesting if you still agree with your lists. Well, we did do, last year, a fun tier maker, where I ranked all of my Game of the Year and Game Runner-Up picks in the history of me doing YouTube. Remember? I re-ranked the games to say what games still held up in the modern day and which games did not. But that was only the top 2. We've never done a formal React stream to that. That could be basically something we could maybe do for Retro React over on DSP Throwback. Could work. The only bummer about that is that my earlier years when I did it, I always used copyright music. Because remember those first few years, I didn't monetize anything on YouTube, so I didn't care. So now if I go to watch those back, what essentially is going to happen is my React gets demonetized. And if it really is licensed music with lyrics and shit, like I remember one year, like my countdown had that song Relax, Don't Do It or whatever.
Man,
laser beams.
But if it's something that's on YouTube and you go, whatever. I mean, maybe in Argentina you can't watch it. I don't know. Creative problem solving and viewer suggestions. Oh man, this is. Oh man.
This is the first thing we'll do. We'll just start throwing dead bodies around. Sounds like a great way to clean up. Dark Gaming says, I look forward to the react of your Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough later on your channel this year. No. Absolutely not. We're never doing that. Never. We see much going on in the realm of game news. Some horrible disaster news today about a bridge accident in like Baltimore and stuff like that, but no game related news. I do. You know, that's one of the points of the show is to have an avenue to vent about this kind of stuff.
Wait, what?
And guys, thank you for allowing me to vent about this kind
of... Dude, they didn't have a choice in the matter. You hyped the stream to cry.
Stuff. I appreciate it. I do. You know, that's one of the points of the show is to have an avenue to vent about this kind of stuff. I still appreciate Baldur's Gate 3. I still like the game. I understand why people like it as much as they do.
No, it will get whatever.
It's Game of the Year, but I call out flaws when I see them, and
I like the game.
Has a lot of them.
Well, I'm starting to dislike the game, but I like the game.
It's been a mess in places.
This dude is all
over
the place.
What's up, Shooter? Good to see you today.
What?
Keanu says, "Oh, when Baldur's Gate 3 finishes, we'll have time to play the Grinch again." Yes, we can bring back the Grinch playthrough, of course. First thing on my mind.
The game he was hyping up. Audience interaction.
You would expect that, not in real life.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Oh man, this is wild. Wild.
If you're playing the game or interested in it, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to have a big patch. And it's going to fix various different things. But most notably, on console, there's going to be an option to have the game always run at 30 frames, supposedly. Now, I don't know if I believe that. They're saying it's a 30 frames cap. Well, I don't see the console version running much higher than 30 frames. So I don't know why it would need a 30 frame cap. I don't understand. If this game was fluctuating like 50 frames, 40 frames, 20 frames, 30 frames, I'd be like, oh, 30 frame cap is good. But the game, for the most part, runs around like 30 frames, maybe 25.
Okay.
But why it needs a cap, I have no idea. They're also going to have an option to turn off ray tracing and motion blur. Well, I think the motion blur thing never should have been in the game to begin with. I don't agree with video games even having motion blur. I think,
dude, every time he goes into settings, he doesn't turn it off. The chat has to remind him, okay, well, I guess we gotta turn that off too. Like he's always passive aggressive about turning it off.
It looks horrible. It's always jarring, right? They try to put it in everything now. They try to put it in every single video.
He literally didn't turn it off until recently, by the way, either. Like he started turning it off like what, last year or the year before? Like come on.
Game. And I don't know a single person that likes motion blur and leaves that shit on. It's terrible. It actually distracts the eye. It's just not good. So likely I'll turn the motion blur off. Ray tracing, well, I like ray tracing on. But if I turn off...
He doesn't use ray tracing. He doesn't even know what it is. He doesn't know what it is.
Ray tracing and the game runs significantly better and doesn't chug along in combat, then I would probably turn the ray tracing off as well. You know? So those are good. I mean, it should have had those to begin with. I don't know why it didn't. On Steam, apparently they're supposed to add improved visuals with DLSS. And then on all platforms, they're going to have the ability to have more than one game at a time, because right now you can only have one game going in the game, which is dumb. What if you are playing the game and you want to do a second run simultaneously, or you have another person in the house who wants to play the game? Right now, they can't even do that. The game only has one save. So they're going to have the ability to have 2 simultaneous saves or more. And I guess they're going to increase the number of Metamorphosis scrolls available to 99. I have no idea what that means. Okay? Also, they're supposedly going to improve things like the subtitles and stuff like that. Like, if you remember, when I played it on Friday, one of my major complaints was, wow, these subtitles, they
man.
suck. They're so small and everything.
Dude,
So they're supposed
this
to add.
subtitle shit is insane. It's insane. He never cared about subtitles like he does now. And now it's like, let's make it huge. Let's put a black border behind it. Let's do color coding. Let's have the character name there. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, come on.
Options to make like the text more legible in the game. So that's obviously a good thing. Now, there is something going on right now.
What's going on?
Okay.
Okay.
In Dragon's Dogma 2 that has just been discovered like within the last 24 hours. And I have no clue why this would be in the game. It sounds incredibly stupid to me. There is something in the game called like either like Dragon Rot or the Dragon Curse. Okay. I looked into it because I started seeing articles about it pop up overnight. Just listen to this. If you're fighting in the game and you fight either a Drake or a dragon, and your pawns are getting hit by the Drake or the dragon, there is a random chance that your pawn can contract a disease. And that disease only affects pawns, but is contagious and can catch onto other pawns in the game, including your entire pawn party or other pawns you interact with.
Pawn party sounds funny.
Okay.
Pawn party.
And your pawn will stop obeying you. Your pawn will give you a hard time about anything. And if you don't find a way to cure the pawn, it could actually kill your playthrough. Because what happens is there's a random chance every time you go to sleep with a pawn that's infected in your party, the pawn turns into a dragon in your sleep. And when you wake up, the dragon attacks the town and kills all the NPCs, and it soft locks your game.
That kind of sounds awesome. But does it soft lock your game? I mean, you know, I really question DSP's terminology usage on soft lock. You know, ever since Resident Evil 0, I really start to question what he means by what he thinks it means. Because there's no way that they turn into a dragon then you can't continue. Like, that's what soft lock means. It means you can't continue the game. Like, and it's like, you know, like, okay, you play Resident Evil 0, you need to, like, let's say you need 5 bullets, and you went in with 1 bullet into this boss fight, and you can't go back, you can't leave, or whatever. That's a soft lock. Because it's like, there was nothing preventing you from doing that situation, but you did that situation, and you can't continue because you factually need to beat the boss to move on. This, I doubt, would cause you to soft lock your game, because they'd probably have some other mechanic where either you have to go to a different town to do whatever you need to do, or whatever. I mean, that kind of sounds a little ridiculous.
And if you think I'm joking, there's videos of it now because people have been playing the game for a few days, and now it started to happen. And people are like, oh shit, what? They'd wake up and the whole town's ravaged. They're like, what the fuck? Like, half the NPCs are dead. And the thing is, if NPCs die in the game, you can resurrect them, but you need a wake stone. Well, wake stones are rare. They're not just easy things to find. You have to find, like, wake stone fragments to form a wake stone. Now, imagine if the dragon killed half the town, so now you have no vendors. No, the story NPCs are all missing. You can't even make progress in the game. It could literally soft lock your game. Okay? So, how do you fix this? Well, you have to be watching your pawns. If your pawn, number one, stops obeying you and gives you a hard time, they might be infected. And what you got to do, if you look at your pawn in lighting, their eyes will be reddish color or glow, and that means that they're infected with this dragon curse. And what you need to do, listen to this. You need to find a lake or a body of water, and you need to grab your pawn and throw them in the water so they die. Once they die and respawn, they've been cured of the curse. So you have to purposefully kill your pawn.
Do you need the lake part?
To get them to be healed.
Why don't you just kill them?
I just want you to think about this.
Think about it.
What purpose does this serve? At all, right? Does this actually add any purpose to the game? I mean, I get it. It's a weird random factor that I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this in any video game.
It's probably just so that, like, it's just another ailment to think about.
Okay?
That's brutal.
Why would you put a contagious... We just went through a worldwide pandemic.
We go to Clownland. We went through a pandemic. Well, Phil, you played Last of Us 2 during the pandemic. What about that?
2 years ago. Why would you put a deadly virus into this game?
This is
you're playing a medieval RPG.
whatever.
You're trying to escape real world.
Dude, you're playing medieval. You know what was popular back in the medieval times? The Black Plague.
With a fantasy thing, and then what do? They put in a fucking contagious virus.
That's so stupid. This complaint is like, I feel the pandemic comment. I'll kind of say he was probably being facetious. Sure, maybe, but still, it's kind of stupid to say that because it's a fucking video game. Like, come on. Secondly, and it's different context too. It's not like it's not as cringe as like, guys, we did a movie and it's all inside one house and social distancing and this and that or whatever, like, oh, the world locked down, bum bum, bum. Like, that's like the movie. Like, yeah, okay, fuck off, you don't need that movie. But this is like a whole different context because it's a fucking video game and it's medieval and you turn to a dragon. Like, come on.
That could literally screw up your playthrough, right? It's like, what? I just don't see. Jasper, could you please stop with that? Jasper. Why?
Dude,
Stop
maybe
it.
Jasper has it.
Stop it.
Dude, Jasper can turn into a dragon. Dude, I think he needs to take Jasper to a lake.
He's really not listening today.
Dude, it's a fucking cat. Dude, it's a fucking cat. Like, come on. I get it. Like, you like being like, oh god, guys, cats. But I mean, come on.
Oh, Jasper.
You don't have to be stupid about it.
Because the funny part is he never plays with wire.
Wait, what?
At all in this room, unless he can't get my attention. He knows he can't have it, so he's gonna misbehave on purpose. Because the funny part is he never plays with wires at all in this room, unless he can't get my attention. Then he'll do it. So he actually isn't doing it because he thinks it's fun. He's doing it because he thinks this is gonna get Dad's attention.
Dude, it's a whatever.
Okay.
I kind of get why my mom is like gets like annoyed when she like.
So anyway,
listen to my brother talk about their cats.
Yes,
she's like,
having
it's a cat. They're not gonna know anything.
Disease in an RPG is kind of a unique and weird thing, but the fact that you could accidentally
You're
have a
telling me
random
a
chance
cat
to have your game
understands
essentially stopped.
what you're
Imagine
telling
playing the
them?
game for
Come on.
like 80 hours, and then this happens, and now you can't make any progress, and your game's done, and you can't fix it either. Like,
you can't fix it except for. You have to take the pawn to a lake. But you can't fix it, okay? You can't.
Right? I don't know if I agree with this. Like, I have to tell my wife, because she's still playing the game. She's been playing it all weekend. I have to tell her about this. So she's aware, because I don't want her game to be ruined. Imagine she's going to be very upset if she's playing this game for a while and her game's ruined because of this. So,
yeah, so
I got to tell her about it. And be aware if you're playing Dragon's Dogma 2, if you don't want to get soft locked and you can't progress. Show. That's all.
Soft locked. Okay. Was there anything else in this podcast? Interaction, gratitude, support, dealing with drama and negativity. What is this?
Talk or collab or go on podcasts or whatever. For me, is on my streams. You know what I mean? Like a lot of other content creators, they pay attention to other creators, they interact with other creators, they talk or collab or go on podcasts or whatever. For me, it seems like no matter what I do, there's always drama involved and someone trying to get attention based off of my name.
You know what? He deserves it because every time something happens, he's like, guys, like, I'm done doing collabs. I'm just going to do my own thing. I want to stay in my lane. I want to just sit here and play video games and all this stuff. And then, like, he collabs with someone, and then it's like, oh, they're only in it for attention. Like, yeah, that's why you said you weren't gonna do collabs, Phil. Remember?
So that's why I just don't bother with it anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, he doesn't do it anymore until he's gonna do it again next year. Like, he said the same shit after the Side Scrollers interview, and then guess what? He talked to Mike Klum, and then after Mike Klum, he was like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm doing my own thing." He got tricked into talking to Jay, and then Jay tricked him. And then he's like, "Oh, wow, I'm not gonna do it again." Yeah, you really mean it this time, right?
There's some
Okay.
opportunities in this last year where, oh, someone wants to interview me, someone wants to do this, and immediately it's revealed, oh, it's just because of drama, you know? Turkey Tom does a documentary on me. Oh, I'd like to interview you and talk. Okay. And then it comes out, oh, he wants to milk me for content. Like, he literally says this in his videos. I'm like, dude, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever fucking heard. Like, so you treat people like animals. You milk them for
You are an
content.
animal.
No, regardless of the consequence to the person, you make money on them. That's a great attitude to have in
Okay.
life, isn't it? Right? Or the recent situation with this Jay Hoofed guy who I know nothing about,
Jay
seems to
Hoofed.
genuinely want to just hang out and have like a chill talk about video games and life, and then come to find out he's bad mouthing me all over his Twitter account for drama purposes to get attention. It's like, the fuck? That's just how people treat me now. So
Good.
I come to the point where, like, I just don't care anymore. I'm here to
Yeah.
be here with you guys.
Again, he
to
said
hang
this
out with you and have a
before,
good
and then
time
he talked to
with
my
games
club,
life,
and then we're here
whatever we're
today.
doing, and that's it. I don't care about anyone else outside of these streams. I don't give a shit about any of them say.
Yeah, okay,
That's my
sure.
attitude. And some people are like, well,
Uh-huh.
then you ignore it all. You're ignorant to all of it, and you have no idea what people are saying or doing, and you don't respond to it. So that just allows them to have more power. I mean, you're right. When you don't defend yourself against endless amounts of slander, basically morons believe it.
What? But this dude said, "Oh, if you ignore it, you're not giving them the power. But if you ignore it, you're giving them the power?" This dude really doesn't know what the fuck to believe anymore. He's so cooked. It's so over for his little brain. His brain can't do anything anymore. He's not being challenged enough. You know, they do say that if you don't challenge or do anything, your brain starts to dystrophy, atrophy. And I never really thought much about it. You know, it's like, okay, you know, I'm sure that happens when I get old, like when I become like 80 or whatever. Okay, but I'm actually seeing it to happen to DSP like right in front of me, and it's wild.
The point is, morons believe it. I'm still here making a living. I'm still here, having a good time. So I don't really care what morons think. And the sad fact is, there's just more and more morons on this planet who just believe whatever because they're stupid and they want drama. They don't care about truth. So I don't care about them. That's
Well,
simple.
what about the Mike Columbus
Okay,
documentary?
let's continue.
He
I
cared about
received a
truth.
$1 tip.
Oh, it took time. That's why you didn't want to do that aspect of it. Gaming updates this late in the podcast.
From Chimp Thoughts. I can't wait to see you play Dragon's Dogma 2 again. It's fun. The optional content is good. I haven't enjoyed an RPG this much since The Witcher 3. Yeah, I was liking it. I was digging it. My one day of 5.5 hours of gameplay, I was really enjoying it. Even the frame rate was choppy, and the camera needs some work.
Discussion
But outside
on
of that, I was
eating
having a great
patterns?
time with it, and I can't wait to jump back
What?
into it sometime next week.
Okay,
Early.
what is
What I do is I
this?
have a breakfast before my streams, and then I have dinner. Like I just ate around 10:30 this morning. I had a bagel with cream cheese and a coffee. That was my breakfast. So now I'm not going to eat again till dinner, and dinner will be probably between 4:35 p.m. For me. And then at night after my late stream, I usually have some kind of a snack, like a sandwich or
A sandwich, a snack. Oh, I just want a snack. Let's get a hamburger.
something, various things that we have in the house. And that's almost like a mini lunch that I have before rest. So
I think they say it's not
yeah,
good
most
for
Americans
you.
eat late. They do.
I think they said it's not good for you if you eat right before you sleep. Like, you shouldn't do that.
Most Americans have a late dinner. Yeah.
No. Actually, no. No. I remember back when I was a kid, I would tell my kids, my kids, I would tell my friends at school, oh yeah, I have dinner at like 9 p.m. And they're like, you eat dinner that late? Because I went to a friend's house and they were eating dinner at 6. I was like, you guys eat really early. Like, why are you eating at 6? I mean, shouldn't you eat at like 8:30, 9? And they're like, no, this is like how we, this is dinner time. I'm like, what? And I see that in shows too. I'm like, what 5 p.m.? I'm like, what, this is like 6 p.m.? What? And then, but I also realized my mom was Greek. She's Greek. She is Greek. And it's probably a Greek thing. We always eat late because we're Greeks.
Some eat earlier, like some will eat between 6, 7. But a lot of Americans eat like 7, 8, 9. Because what it is, a lot of Americans are working. They can't eat till they're home from work. And if you're working till 5:30 p.m., and you're not home till like 6:37, then you got to make a meal so you don't eat till late.
Okay.
My dad worked the late shift. So because he worked the late shift, we had to eat early so that he would have a meal and then he would go to work.
Okay.
Big stream, and I just eat right after. I'm hungry, you know?
Okay.
Dietitians say you shouldn't do that. They say power.
Wait, what?
Dark Gaming says he has an extra big lunch. He skips breakfast and dinner entirely. You know, you could do that, but dietitians say you shouldn't do that. They say power loading in one meal doesn't work, that you need to have food delivered to you over the course of a day. Although most dietitians say you shouldn't even have a full meal. They're like, you should just have constant snacks throughout the day. Do you know a single person on this planet that doesn't really eat a meal but just snacks all day instead?
Oh my god.
Not me. I never heard of one.
Okay.
But that's what they say you're supposed to do. Yeah, but for me, I try at least to
You know,
have
these dietitian things he's bringing up, he's not really thinking about what's actually being said or the context, because I'm sure that like these diets probably have a lot of context to them. Like, oh, you should do this diet if you're looking to do this or that.
food over the
But
course of the
whatever.
day. You know, something quick in the morning. You know, I would not eat in the morning. I would wait.
Oh my god. You know, enough of this. I don't know why I wanted to listen to this. Interactive commentary and playback. What is this?
Last several years that I got into a 3-meal schedule. Before then, it was 2 meals.
Oh my god.
Ellipsian says, how about for reacting to longer playthroughs instead of watching all of it? Why don't I skip to the good parts? Because I don't know what the good parts are.
No, he did. He did that. Like, oh, okay, shut up. Clarification and contributions and notification. What the fuck?
A wild Jasper has appeared. Then, for the first many years that I streamed, so we're talking when I first started direct capture, it was in early 2013, and all the way through late 2016, because it really was late 2016, early 2017 that I became an interactive streamer. It was actually at the very beginning of my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild playthrough that I decided I was going to be interactive, okay, and change my whole methodology of how I was going to make content. So when I did that, why? It's this simple, because I was an idiot. The whole point of being a live streamer is that you have a live audience. And if you don't take advantage of that live audience, then you're kind of missing the point of having the live stream.
Take advantage. Take advantage of them.
100%, I missed the point of having the live stream. I was streaming and ignoring the audience. I acted like no one was watching live. Seriously.
Seriously?
And if you want to know why, it's very simple. It's because of my origins. I didn't start as a live streamer. A lot of content grew, early 2013. So you're talking a good 4 to 5 year span of content on YouTube. I was just doing offline videos. There was no interaction. And occasionally an email here or there, or like going to a convention and meeting some people in person. Okay? That's how I had my interaction. There was no chat anywhere. So because of that, I didn't have an interactive element to my content. When I decided to go direct capture in early 2013,
okay,
I take full responsibility for the fact that I was ignorant. I literally said, hey guys, I'm streaming, but it's fan service. If you want to be there for the live stream, great, you can see the stuff live, but I'm still basically making this content for an on-demand audience. And that was reflected in the fact that I didn't do any...
But I'm pretty sure he responded to people in chat during this time period too, though.
contributions on the streams whatsoever.
He couldn't.
I didn't shout out anyone on
He couldn't do it because he was streaming on YouTube at the time. And he had no cheers, super chats, subs, memberships.
Streams whatsoever. Like I said, I literally ignored the audience. If you go back and watch my playthroughs from 2013 all the way through 2017, I'm not talking to anyone. Really, there's nothing like that at all. It's just me playing a game as if I'm playing it offline. And a lot of people didn't understand that, and they definitely were correct in not understanding it. Once I became an interactive streamer in 2017.
Because I also remember there was a time where Street Fighter 5 was a new game, and he was interacting with chat. I typed in chat saying Dalsim sucks or whatever, and he said, "Oh, so this guy says Dalsim sucks in Street Fighter 5." So he did respond. Come on.
The reason I did it is very, very simple. YouTube's adpocalypse happened. And when YouTube had the adpocalypse, it became impossible to make a living on ad revenue alone on YouTube. Okay. I had to find alternate methods of, profit. And everyone said, dude, you are streaming every day. Why on earth are you not interacting with your audience to become a monetized stream? Why don't you have cheer? Well, keep in mind, at this point, I was still streaming on YouTube, and I decided to go back to Twitch in late 2016 because of people urging me to do so. And they were like, why are you not accepting cheers? Why aren't you in the partner program?
He was in the partner program, though. He literally was. He left because they told him to lower his bitrate.
So that you can have...
That's a blatant lie. It's not that he wasn't in it. He just wasn't on Twitch. I think his channel got removed or whatever the fuck, but he got his partnership back because he asked for it.
Subs. Like, are you stupid?
Are you
Everyone
stupid?
literally is doing this, and you're not. It's a way to get live support.
Dude, he said people who do that should just get a hooker.
From your audience every single day, and you just ignore.
It's funny he says this, but he mocks so many people who went to get sponsorships because of the apocalypse. Oh, you see these people, they get sponsorships. Oh, they can't make money on YouTube. They want to get a sponsorship. But he can't make money on YouTube, and he ran to beg.
Or the people who were there, like they don't exist. I mean, you're an idiot. People were right. Now I know that, because now that I've been an interactive streamer for so long, now I've been doing it pretty much 7 years. And now that I've seen the difference between making a video pretty much just for an on-demand audience, only, trying to talk over every single moment of the game to kill the noise or the emptiness, you know what I mean? Instead of having true, meaningful conversation and interaction.
He doesn't have meaningful conversations now, though. You watch him today, he's like last night, he was like, all right, guys, oh, so you saw the X-Men show? Okay, wow, how is it? And then he continued to play it, and he never read a follow-up. He didn't care. It's all bullshit.
With the audience here, I just have to constantly make stupid jokes about sex and race.
Dude, that's what he does now, though. He fills dead air with either just saying, okay, so either doing YouTuber mode, where it's just him just describing what he wants to do, what he's doing, or he does those clown noises.
Art jokes and all kinds of shit, constant, right?
You still make constant poop jokes, though.
Always constant nonsense. So, and that's reflected now that we're doing these retro reactions, we're going back and watching these old playthroughs. Half the time you laugh your ass off, and half the time you're cringing at how bad the comments.
Dude, this dude literally doubled down on the slave trade joke, and it's like I'm sitting there like, every time he does it, it's such a bad segment, because it's like, dude, you brag how I understand why my jokes were offensive and all this stuff, and how he's such an ally and all this other stuff. When people bring up, hey, this joke may be a little bit offensive, he doubles down on the joke and says, you need to shut up. But okay.
Is because I wasn't doing it for a live audience. I was just doing it to fill dead air constant for myself. It was so different, And the thing is, it was just, I was set in my ways. I thought my shit didn't stink. I'm the one with the YouTube channel. I know what I'm doing. My way or the highway. If you don't like it, don't watch. That was the worst attitude to have.
Dude, he has that attitude now.
Should have been, be open to criticism. Be open to constructive criticism. Not destructive criticism, because there's a lot of that these days. But there was a lot of constructive criticism back then that I completely overlooked, because I just wanted to keep doing things the status quo, exactly the same, not changing.
And get this, all the constructive criticism he got was people telling him how to make more money off of his audience. Wow, what criticism?
When I finally changed in 2017, my eyes were open, because by the end of that year, I was like, I've had more fun this year streaming than I think I had.
No, but Phil, 2017 was supposed to be a bad year, remember? He told us so many times. 2017 was awful, man. I was going through such a hardship then. That was a fun year. Oh man, busted yet again.
Many years doing the on-demand style content before. It just blew my mind that there's so much more fun to be had with an interactive audience, And I'm so happy that eventually I stopped being so stubborn, and it was really you guys convinced me to be different and change. And once I did, like, wow, it saved the business, single-handedly becoming from an on-demand style creator to an interactive streamer had changed and saved.
Okay, let's skip that. What's Street Fighter?
BB Phil says, I found your match versus Justin Wong at Evo East 2006. Did you react to that kind of stuff yet? Nope. No. It would be nice to. It would be nice to react and explain the matchup.
Then he's going to be asking people to submit it. Okay. Future gaming plans? Contribution interaction policy. There's a policy?
And it has to at least be $1. I mean, understand that. If we don't do that, we're going to sadly have trolls and idiots in here.
But no, he okay, so this is another lie. He had to raise the notification because he was upset. He was annoyed by the animations playing. He still said, "Oh, I'll accept or whatever," but it's whatever. He still would read them, but he just couldn't have the pop-ups. That's why he did it.
Coming in with little penny 5-cent donations and hope that I just derail my whole stream reading their shit all day. That's exactly what they did. Remember, I just mentioned 2017, I became a live streamer or an interactive live streamer. During the Breath of the Wild playthrough, idiots came on the stream and were doing like 2 cents, 2 cents, 2 cents, 2 cents, 2 cents, and the pop-up would just keep going endlessly. And like, well, why aren't you reading my messages?
That's not what happened, by the way.
102-cent messages. I'm not going to sit here.
That's not what happened, by the way. It was actually like $1 or something. It was a little bit more than 2 cents.
For the next 4 hours reading your shit. You're an idiot. You know? I'm not wasting my time.
I think it was 25 cents, to be honest. But whatever.
Oh, I know. Dark Gaming says a lot of streamers don't even call out tips under $10. A lot of streamers, when they do like Q&A streams, they have a requirement. Like, you have to do a $5 contribution of some sort for them to even read your question.
That's like King of the Hill. Whoops. That's like Ask the King. Oh man, he can't really complain about this. He can't mock him. I'm sorry, he can't. It was I was about to say $5. No, it was a $20. A $20 Patreon reward to get your question asked on Ask the King. He can't mock people for saying $5. That's cheaper than what he was offering.
I want you to think about that. Imagine if on this stream, I won't even read your question unless you toss me $5. That's how some people do it.
Oh, man. But you know, that does read out dumb questions.
Okay,
think about it. Actually, you know what? It is kind of smart. Think about it. Because it will make people have to ask you smart questions at that point. For $5, like, they can't ask you, like, oh, what's your favorite color? Oh, man. But again, he can't complain. He charged $20 on Patreon. And $50 for a private video.
I'd love to see you react to your sessions of Street Fighter 4. Those are...
Okay, yeah, he's not going to do that.
I need it. I felt very burnt out playing Tekken and getting to the purple ranks and then just basically getting crushed and like, dude, I just don't want to do this anymore, you know?
Yeah, you should play Guilty Gear.
No, too much hard work, stress, dedication to learn at that level for a game that, number one, the audience wasn't really caring that much about. Number two, I knew I wasn't going to be able to invest enough time in to get any better.
So why didn't you just play for fun? Why do you have to get better?
Not even any gameplay. Casual matches, I would do that. And then BB Phil says if 5 people were to submit the same video to be watched.
Oh.
Justin Wong, would that be legal?
I like how BB Phil is literally just asking Phil, how can he like get around the system? Like, he's really just asking Phil, can I stuff the ballot box? Can I devalue the like, listen to what he just asked.
And would have 5 times the chance. I mean, essentially, let's say, for example, first of all, if you're an ultra...
He could just say no, by the way. He could say, if I got 5 submissions, I would omit the redundancies. Like, but no, he can't say that because he's like, oh, PvPhil might be a cuck. I might be able to cuck him to make 5 channels and give me 5 members. Oh, maybe.
Member on the show, it's guaranteed to be watched. If someone absolutely wanted me to watch that clip, become an ultra member on DSP Reacts and submit it, and we're going to watch it on Sunday. It's a guarantee, okay? But if you didn't want to go that far, and you just wanted to become a submissions level member, which is the much cheaper option, you know, there's a randomized chance we're going to watch it. Yeah, honestly, if a lot of people all submitted the same clip, then obviously there's going to be demand for that clip, and likely we would just watch it anyway.
This is dumb, though. It's so dumb. Think about it. Because he's adding to these videos to a playlist. It's not like it goes to like a generator to like just put him in a playlist. And is he really gonna say he'd watch it if a lot of people submit it? I mean, that's kind of telling people that they could rig it. Then he's telling them how to rig his fucking thing, and this dude increased the value of the channel members to avoid the Argentina bullshit. What's this then, Phil? This is gonna be another way for people to scam you. But guess what? He gets the individual membership. But what if? Scary time. What if that BB Phil used Argentina and made 5 separate accounts? Bum bum bum.
But that's what usually doesn't happen. Almost always, it's
Like
a
again,
wide.
he could just say become an ultra member or whatever the fuck. Standard member, look, if I see redundancies, I'll just omit the redundant ones and just add the one. That's all he had to say. But no, we can't have rules. He can't do it. He can't stand on any rules he has for his fucking channel.
Variety of clips that are submitted, and almost never is there a duplicate submission. I think twice ever there was like a new trailer or something people wanted to see me react to, and so a couple people submitted it, but outside of that, it's almost always completely different videos. Cybers TV says, honestly, a lot of the stuff you got hate for between 2013 and 16 has become the norm for streamers to do. It's kind of crazy.
What?
Always completely different videos.
What is this question? Let's hear it again.
Cybers TV says, honestly, a lot of the stuff you got hate for between 2013 and 16 has become the norm for streamers to do. It's kind of crazy.
Like what? What did he do?
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
This has become the story. Everyone else can do anything and they're fine, but if I do anything, it's wrong.
Because you fucking virtue signal all the time. No one would care if you just weren't such a little bitch about everything. So these other guys, they try to get ahead. I'm not trying to get ahead. I'm an honest guy, man. And then when people try to hold him accountable for being an honest guy, he's like, why am I being held accountable and not this other guy? What about that guy? It's like, but dude, we're talking about you. It's your stream. And you're a guy who's supposedly about values and all this other bullshit, though. Like, you made it about it. And he's like, why are you holding me accountable for the things I say?
It doesn't matter what I do, what I say, how I act, if I improve or not.
Again, easy way to debunk it is look at him react to the slave trade reaction. He made a joke. People said this is offensive and they didn't like it. Instead of just doing what he said he would normally do, listen to people and like understand that, oh, this is racist and bad and I should like apologize or whatever. Instead of doing any of that stuff he claims he does, he doubles down on them and says that they're mad over nothing and he belittles them, which, you know, if he feels that way, fine. But at the same time, you're streaming and you claim that you listen to people. You could just say, I thought it was funny. I'm sorry that you couldn't take a joke. But he is so bad at apologizing all the time. And it's because simply he views it as a sign of weakness. He views if he apologizes, he loses. And that's such a dumb way to approach life.
Matter. I'm just in the wrong and I'm always the villain. Because again, I've become the meme of the internet. Unfairly, I feel. I mean, listen, when I was younger, I was an idiot. I was an obstinate, stubborn jerk. I felt like my shit didn't stink.
Dude, you are still that way. Again, he got a suggestion how to improve co-op time with Cat, and he thought that this dude was being an innocuous troll. And it's like, if you want to make that argument, sure, I guess you could. But at the same time, there was genuinely good advice in it and good criticism. Instead, he took it as all criticisms. And he acted negatively. The suggestion box has been the most toxic segment in his fucking stream, and it's not his fault. He didn't say, oh, it's the trolls. They all flooded the suggestion box and said stuff that was insulting. But it's like you chose to take it that way.
I want to listen to any criticism or constructive or otherwise. Literally, I was just, hey, my way or the highway, bro. Right? If you don't like it, don't watch. Fuck off. That was what I used to say. Right? Now, I've changed for the better. I know that that's an awful attitude to have. And I want to improve. I want to make better content. I feel like I have improved dramatically. I think we're heading in the right direction with the content that I'm making. Instead of it just being gameplay, doing other stuff and
just like doing one day of different content is doing different stuff and not just
sadly,
gameplay.
The internet doesn't care.
Splitting hairs.
The internet has an impression, rides this meme, and will never let it go. So it doesn't matter what I say, do to
Because you're
improve
a
it now.
two-faced motherfucker. You're a two-faced, fake-ass piece of shit. And you'll never won't be. Every opportunity this dude gets, he always squanders it. And it's to the point, this dude does not deserve any more chances. Like, at all. People should not even talk to him. They should avoid him like he has the fucking dragon curse.
I'm just a villain. And again, any moment that I have to
I mean,
possibly
he's
get
also wearing the medieval style fit, so it kind of aligns with
a
that.
fair shake, people use that to capitalize and just turn it back to negativity so they can benefit from it, because they realize if they bite into the meme, if they ride that negativity wave that's against me, they will get more views, contributions, and popularity than if they were nice to me. Can we be honest here? If the side scrollers last year were nice to me after their interview, they wouldn't have gotten any notoriety.
They were giving him like just a general opinion. But the thing is, as I said before, I feel whatever about that interview, whatever. But the thing is, if you go off his story, it was originally going to be a video game like podcast. And so instead of just doing that, DSP was like, okay, yeah, let's do an expose video. It's like, but you chose to do that every step of the way, but before the interview even started, and through the interview, every step of the way, he made bad decisions. And instead of just saying, look, I don't want to do this interview about what I was as a content creator, I just want to talk about video games. He should have just done that. No, decides to do the interview that happened. They asked him, do you want Keem on? He says yes, put him on. But he didn't want to talk to Keem. Why not just say no? No, decide to put a Keem on anyway and talk more nonsense about it. Like, everything that happened was because of him.
Popularity whatsoever. Instead, they did exactly what everyone else does. They took the easy way out. They became toxic trolls of mine. They literally rode that for weeks to months on end, and they got tons of popularity and contributions based off of it, and they used that to propel themselves to change their show, because now they had eyes on their show.
Oh my god, he thinks that this dude is so delusional. He thought that interview was what led the side scrollers to do what they do now. No, they did that on their own, because right after they got him, they got James Rolfe, I think, and some other guy. And then like more and more, they started talking more about culture war nonsense, and that got more traction. So it just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with him.
Tell themselves to be a political show. And now they just do that same polarized political bullshit that everyone else does on the internet. It's boring. It's very fucking outdone. It's for dullards. But that's what they do. And they get tons of views doing it. And it's all because they rode the wave of toxicity against me. Right? If they had been nice to me after the fact,
this dude is so delusional.
They wouldn't have had any of that. And likely none of their popularity would have ever happened, because no one would have ever had eyes on their content. No one would have given a shit.
Yeah, right? Okay, buddy. Whatever you say.
Doesn't matter what I say or do. You know? It's just, hey, as long as we're hurting Phil, we'll get that popularity out of it. So might as well just keep doing it, right?
Right.
And again, the other big thing about this is that the other meme about me is that it doesn't matter what's said about me. It doesn't matter what's done to me. I still exist and persevere. I mean, the meme is that everyone else gets canceled. Everyone else goes out of business. Everyone else is gone. But Darkside Phil perseveres.
Oh
right?
my god, dude. Shut up.
And I hate to say
dude, like, Mega 64 lasted pretty long, and I don't hear them fucking brag as much as DSP about surviving or existing.
As much of a meme as that is perseverance, it's a double-edged sword. If people think that no matter what, you can't go away, they think it's okay to do anything to you because you're just going to survive it. Right?
Dude, he literally changed his Twitter handle to be DSP the Invincible, DSP the Immovable, all this other shit. And he bragged about outlasting people. And he's like, now it's everyone else's fault that they think that way? Dude, you made it your personality for years. And then when that personality started to stick with the fucking Derek's, you're like, wait a second, this is not right. Like, shut up, man. You're fucking delusional. Go sniff some paint.
Because that's the truth. All these people say and do horrible things to me, but then I'm still here. I still persevere, right? I'm still here. So also it's fine. Just keep beating them up, right? If you're like, So there's a guy who's literally
Oh my
invincible. You
god.
can't ever kill him. So just keep running up and stabbing him and shooting him and fucking.
Dude, this dude has such a defeatist mentality. If you just think about it, let's think of the clown world out of it. So this dude would see something that's like unbeatable, and he would just give up immediately. Man, imagine if we had a massive revolt and this guy was in your army. You wouldn't make it that far. He'd just say, "Oh, dude, they outnumber us. We should just give up. Let's just go home. We can't stop them." He'd give up immediately. He'd fold.
Ripping his limbs off because they're going to regrow and because he's immortal, right? So just keep fucking him up. Give him endless torture just because, you know, he'll survive it. I mean, does that make it right to do it? Of course it doesn't, but that's how people are against me. It's literally, it's an endless cycle of just keep fucking with Phil as much as you can because you can get away with it and he'll still be here anyway. Everyone's taking the shot, like literally over the years, every single content creator's taking a shot at it.
Whatever.
It's a rarity when you find someone who doesn't take the easy shot at me. Jasper. What's going on? I don't even know what else to say. It's just, it's true. You know?
It's true, you know?
That's just like my life that I gotta live with, I guess.
It is what it is, I guess. Game moderation.
To get these ROMs working, and then you have to set it up so there's no chat on the screen because the chat is endless. And people
remember when he was gonna do this in January? I remember.
Constantly, you have to do this and like it's a nuanced, annoying thing that I would have to get set up and working. Okay.
Okay.
But is it worth it to play old school fighting games? Probably, because I love old school fighting games, and there's really no other way to properly play them right now. On Twitch, just to people running Twitch, there was always drama involved.
Oh man, what was this?
Karaya says, "Were your Twitch days like this? I don't remember you getting into much drama on Twitch, just to people running Twitch. There was always drama involved. There was always people trying to create drama for me, trying to use my name and put it through the mud. Constant. This has been happening for over a decade. It all started with This Is How You Don't Play, and once This Is How You Don't Play took off, and people said, "Oh, it's fun to make fun of Phil's gameplay." Then it crossed over to, "Oh, it's just fun to make fun of Phil." Then it crossed over to, now it's fun to make stuff up about Phil. Now it's fun to completely misrepresent Phil. Because
you misrepresent, he misrepresents his own fans, by the way. He fucking read a whole suggestion about fucking how to make the cat streams better, and he thought that the dude was making fun of cat.
As long as you're getting the views and the clickbait, you don't care. Again, they see me as like I'm undying. Right? I'll be here no matter what.
He changed his name to Undying. DSP the Undying. Shut up.
So just say or do whatever the hell you want about Phil, and he'll survive it at his expense. Who cares? As long as we get the profit from it. And that's what's been going on for about a decade now.
Dude, you could go through his Twitter, and you could find these cringe-ass tweets of him, like, bragging about how he's unstoppable.
And yes, it happened on Twitch. It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. Consideration of political content. Why are we considering this?
If I were to do political content one day, everyone seems to say Rumble's the best place to do it because Rumble does not censor you or hold you like for example, let's say during the COVID era, right? Someone was massively anti-vax, which I wasn't actually. I was vaccinated and everything, but I'm saying, let's say someone was like vehemently anti-vax. If you were like that on YouTube, you could have gotten in trouble. Like people would have actually gotten hit with like community strikes and stuff like that, right? I don't necessarily agree with that, by the way.
You don't?
But what people are saying is,
oh my god,
Rumble
man!
Like, never do that. Rumble just lets you say your opinion, and you don't get punished for it. In some ways, that's a good thing. Right?
Why would that be such a bad thing to mug? Whatever. You know
what the ad situation is like over there. I don't know if the site is really that functional. I haven't used it.
You know, I'm a vaxxer.
I would have to look into that. But if I were ever to use Rumble, it would be because I want to go in a direction
I don't want to go
on
YouTube. Vaccines
and God forbid I say something political on YouTube that pisses someone off, and now they imagine that. Imagine if like I was here doing politics stuff on this channel, and YouTube punishes me for saying something they don't like, and now I lose.
But shouldn't people be held accountable?
Years of my life.
DSP literally said people should be held accountable for what they say, right? Correct. So that's just what YouTube's doing, just holding people accountable, man.
The channel gets shut down.
Whatever.
You imagine that? That would be a fucking disaster, right? So that's what I mean. If I were able to If I were
Yeah, you're not gonna
ever
do it on
to
DSP
do like political
gaming.
stuff, I would probably want to take it off of YouTube so that way I wouldn't get associated
No,
on
the
this
reason why
long.
the reason why I want to take it off of YouTube is because it would expose him for not having like 200K subs or whatever. So, because if he goes to Kick, Rumble, whatever the fuck, he could easily find the cope of saying, "Well, it's a different website, so like people have to like find ways to get there and blah 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 blah." Because he made another YouTube channel and he gets like 50 subscribers, that's gonna make him feel really bad, and he doesn't want to do that. So because he can't rebrand another DSP channel. He has to like make a new one from scratch, and he doesn't want to do that for obvious reasons. So he needs to go to a different website to make another channel. That's why. That's the real reason. Think about it.
Running stuff with something that could piss someone off. You know what I mean? So if that would be like the one reason I'd probably use Rumble. Outside of that, I don't see gameplay or any of this kind of content having a place in Rumble. Okay.
Correct. But does Rumble have YouTube Premium? Alright, let me just stop here. Alright. I was gonna do the Microsoft thing, but I'll do that another day. We'll save it another day. The gaming news segment, I'll save it for another day. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was a fun one. I mean, this video was 3 hours long, so I mean, I'm not gonna make this any longer. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you next time. And as always,
Time to skedaddle on out of here!
bye.